Hi, my name's Ethan Lawrence.
This is Jesse Leach from Killswitch Engage.
Hi, I'm Scotty Wartooth.
Hi, my name's Sean Smith.
Hi, my name is Deisha Kiva.
Hey, this is Ryan McCombs from the band Soil.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Raging Cajun Lash LaRue.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ronnie LaDrew, and I'm actually talking to the Chronicles of Podcast with Jamie and Tom, and it's been an absolutely delight. I can't wait to talk to them.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week we bring you the man behind a bona fide British legend. This week's guest has been a puppeteer and performer for over 60 years, performing on the stage and screens big and small, working on projects like The Muppets, The Labyrinth, The Mighty Boosh, Sooty, and of course, Rainbow. This week we are going to paint the whole world with a rainbow as we bring you the Chronicles of Ronnie LaDrew.
What a fabulous intro. Thank you very much.
No, thank you for joining us, sir. It means the world.
Oh, I just did not expect to sing.
With that theme song, I've got to get it in somewhere, so I've just got to get it in. It's iconic.
Before we get into the real meaty side of things, Ronnie, how's your Thursday been?
It's been okay, actually. I've been organising a trip. I've got my daughter living in Derby, and I've got two lovely granddaughters. And I promised I'd go and see them. And we've been working out, obviously it's over the bank holiday, weekend. So that's what I'll be doing. So I'm shooting off to Derby tomorrow to see my lovely granddaughters and my daughter. And we should have a lovely long weekend together.
Oh, so nice. Oh, yeah. I hope you have a wonderful time. That's lovely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So the way we like to start these things is we like to take it right back to the days of young Master LaDrew, you could say.
Oh, yeah.
What did you want to be when you were growing up, those formative years? Has it always been the world of entertainment, or was it like train driver or rocketeer? I don't know.
I was just about to say train driver just to shock you. No, I mean, I don't know. I think, you see, I grew up in a block of flats in South London, and I'm going to show you. Oh, I don't know whether is it too.
Oh, wow.
Tiny?
Oh, no.
That's my sister and I as young kids. But let me just try and I've got one of the. Oh, there's the block. And that's me. I don't know whether you can see this at all. But there's a young Ronnie there.
Wow.
Sorry, and there's a block of flats behind. And that block of flats was in South London. And basically, on Sunday afternoons from school, this was sort of junior school or whatever, I used to watch the Sunday matinees with my mum mostly. I mean, my dad would, be doing other things or whatever. But anyway, and it was all the sort of old Ginger Rogers, Fred Astaire musicals, sort of romantic, all the stuff they used to put on a Sunday afternoon, either on BBC or ITV in those days. And I rather like the idea of being, in musicals and dancing and being in theatre. I mean, I didn't think I'd ever do it, but it was like, inside the mind there. And then one year, and I don't know what year it was, but I was given a set of puppets. My father, in fact, made me a puppet booth thing for glove puppets. So I had a glove about 3 glove puppets, and I had, trying to remember, about 3 Pelham puppets. Now, Pelhams were made by a man called Bob Pelham, and he started his company in about 1947 or something, or late 40s, and continued right up until sadly he died. But anyway, these puppets you could buy, and I think they were quite expensive. I mean, for me, they were quite expensive, but that's why I only had 3. I had a friend later on who had about 16, and I thought jealousy. But anyway, and they were they were sort of ones for kids to work, but they work quite well. And so I decided during one of the school holidays that I would put on puppet show with these 3 puppets and a couple of glove puppets. So I lived on the first floor of the flats. So I had an old kitchen table, quite a small one. And I don't know why, but I turned it upside down so the legs were sticking up in the air. Yeah. And I used the bottom for the stage floor for the marionettes sort of thing. And then the glove puppet, I think I just did that. And then I had a wind-up gramophone. Sounds as though I was born in 1876. But I had a wind-up gramophone, and I had some. I don't know how we acquired it, but I acquired a lot of 78, sort of records, speed that was, and they were sort of I'm trying to remember Victor Sylvester music, which was an orchestral leader, but it was a bit boring, really. I really wanted a bit more fun, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. And then I think I had a couple of Gracie Fields records as well. So the puppets sang to, you know, I'm a lonely petunia and an onion patch or something. But that was quite fun. Anyway, the kids came. They're all mates. We all had gangs in the flats, you know, we used to play. I'm talking about, I was probably between 7, 8, 9, that sort of age. And so they sat on the stairs. I was on the first floor, on the stairs going up to the second floor. And so they on concrete, can you believe? Anyway, not comfortable. But anyway, here I am doing these funny shows, turning on the record. And I really quite enjoyed it. They seemed to like it. You know, that was quite fun. So I thought, oh, well, must have, you know, it's quite fun. I like doing this. And then gradually, as I got older, I discovered there was another type of puppet theatre that I quite liked, or I discovered, which was called the Pollock's Toy Theatres. They're a model theatre made basically in Hoxton Street years and years ago, and just after the First World War, I think, by Benjamin Pollock. And he had this funny little shop, Hoxton Street, sort of North London, sort of. And anyway, I didn't go there to buy my toy theatre, but I did actually go. I think it was Hamley's, and you know, in Oxford Street, and they were selling them. And I saved up my pocket money, and this time I would have been about 12, 13, that sort of, maybe, you know, that sort of age. And I set this little toy theatre up, and basically it's a theatre with a proscenium arch and a curtain that goes up, you pull up, and you've got, and I had, I wish we had the lighting we have today, but I had old bicycle lights with Quality Street, sorry for advertising, wrappers over the lights to give a bit of colour on the set.
That's genius. Yeah.
Well, it was fun. You know, I quite liked that. It did work. And then I think I had a Harlequin Age show. I had I'm trying to remember, a pirate one. It's probably Treasure Island or something. I mean, and so they were quite lovely sets, and you cut out the figures. And well, first of all, you stuck the sheets. They were paper sheets onto thin cardboard, and that I used to use cereal packets, you know, and stick them on for the cardboard, and then cut round, and then put a number on the back, so which figure it was the one you brought in for the thing. And they were just still little cardboard things, and you had wires, and you just went zzz, 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 and you came in with them.
Yeah.
And I loved it because I thought, this is real theatre. You know, it was sort of, I mean, another thing I used to watch when I was you know, watching television was the Sunday night London Palladium, which was the variety show on, I think it was probably about 8 o'clock or 7:30 at night on ITV. And that had all your American singers and stand-ups, plus the English ones, you know, Norman Wisdom, Bruce Forsyth, or Tommy Cooper. I mean, loads of people. And I adored all that. I loved that sort of coming on, doing an act and going off, you know, in the next one. And the other lovely thing I loved about that show was that they had a lovely revolve on the stage. And at the end, everybody, they'd have Sunday night London played in great big letters all round, and then people would stand behind them, and then the revolve would start, and then the curtains would come down at the end, and that was the end of the show. Every show it sort of ended like that, and I just thought, wow, this is fantastic. Or also they had the most amazing Tiller girls who did all these lovely high kick things. I love that. They always introduced a show with the Tiller girls. But anyway, again, that was terribly inspirational. So I did Pollock's Toy Theatre shows. I invited a few of my friends into my bedroom because it wasn't very big, and I had a cardboard to hide me, and the theatre was down there. And I remember doing, now this sounds terribly grand, but a version of Hamlet, which was the Laurence Olivier film version, and they made a toy theatre sort of booklet with all these characters in, and they were taken from stills from the film. Anyway, I did this scene with the ghost coming down, Hamlet's father, and it was on a bit of cotton. That was quite fun. And I'm the ghost of Hamlet, you know, whatever it was. And then there was Horatio on the ramparts, and he was and you know, I thought, these kids are really good. They're really into it. They're so quiet listening to this show. And I thought, and I did that scene, and I thought, that's marvelous. That's terribly good. Put the curtain down. I thought, I'd just go out and, you know, say how marvelous you are. And I went out, and every kid, there's only about 5 of them, had crept out because they were bored out of their minds, because I was enjoying myself, but obviously not really understanding about, you know, I just assumed they loved it. anyway, I learned a great big lesson. You know, you do not do shows just for yourself. You're doing it for the audience and for the audience reaction, blah, blah. So that was quite nice to have learned that quite early on, really. Getting a bit older, I went to, this was all happening when I was in junior school. Then I went to senior school, and it was a big comprehensive school, and I hated it. It was very sporty, and sadly, I mean, just look at me. I'm not very sporty, but I mean, I hated football. I thought, what is why are people kicking the ball around the field for? I mean, I don't see it, I just didn't understand.
I'm with you, Ronnie. I'm with you 100%, sir.
Oh,
Never got it. No.
And then we played hockey in the winter, and that was really horrible. I hated it. It was really painful. They stuck me in the goal, which was quite a small goal, but they padded me up to nothing, and I could hardly move. I was like a robot. And of course, I still let the bloody ball, the ball into the net. So that wasn't very good. So I wasn't the most happiest school kid in senior school. But luckily, I didn't have to stay there very long, because when I was about 13, 14, I discovered a wonderful organization called the British Puppet and Model Theatre Guild. And this was, in fact, it was written on the bottom of one of my Pollock's Toy Theatre play sheets. It said, if you're interested in puppetry, why not, sort out and be a member of the Puppet Guild. And I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. And I discovered that it was actually in Vauxhall. Now, I lived in Stockwell, South London, which is about, in those days, it was, a tuppence bus ride away or whatever it was. So I asked my parents, said, look, I'm quite old now. I think I can go out at 7 in the evening and come back at 9. And they let me go to this Puppet Guild. And I went along, and I met a whole lot of professional puppeteers, because they all sort of gravitated to these meetings, and they showed off their work. So there was marionette, string puppets and glove puppets and all sorts. And there were books on puppetry. They had a sort of mobile library. It was in a church hall, St. Gabriel's Church Hall. And it was, so the library was this like great big suitcase with loads of books in. But that was great. And I became a junior member. And I also met various puppeteers who became great friends later, but I was sort of very much in awe of all these people, and I was desperate to get my hands on the puppets to have a work of them. And one of the companies said, yes, and I had to play, and I thought, oh, this is fun, I really like this, and you can do an awful lot with them. Well, of course, on television, I've been watching things like, Jerry Anderson's Stingray and Supercar and Fable X5 and all these amazing shows, and of course, I loved all that stuff. And one of the people that was there was a man called John Blundell, and he was a little bit younger than some of the other puppeteers. Anyway, he said, look, there's another place I can take you to that you might be interested. It's called the Educational Puppetry Association. And I thought, oh, blimey, that's a bit grand. But anyway, it was a basement in Holborn, which was great. And it was just a lovely room full of all bits of material, so you could make puppets. And a lovely couple called A.R. Philpott, well, his theatre name was Pantopuck. It was like pantomime, and he did lovely glove puppet shows, and he was an incredible inspiration to me, because he helped me. He said, well, let's get you should be doing shows, you can do a one-man show. And I thought, well, I've done these marionette funny little shows. Yeah, all right. And he said, I'll help you make a stage. And Violet, his wife, who was a lovely puppeteer, she helped me make a puppet, and and lent me a puppet actually to be my main character. I'm jumping ahead a bit, but anyway, I went there, and it was just it was wonderful. And then also going there, I sort of started to sort of think, I wonder whether I can do this for a job. I mean, there's these other people are working. Anyway, I was probably about 14 by then, I can't remember. And so I went back to the guild one evening, and they said, well, they're all going off to see a new puppet theatre that's just opened. And I thought, wow, didn't know this. And it was called the Little Angel Theatre in North London. And so I decided that, yeah, I'd like to join them. They said, well, I'm terribly sorry, there isn't room on the coach for you. So I thought, how disgusting, how terrible. Anyway, basically, there was a whole lot of foreign guests that had come over. They were starting a British section of Unimar, which is the World Puppetry Organization, and they met at the guild's meeting place. Anyway, one of the Australian puppeteers who'd come over, Edith Murray, had said, look, don't worry, I'll go next week. You know, you must come over and see, and we'll go together and I'll introduce you to the company. And I thought, wow, that's fantastic. So in a way, it was better that I went the following week. So I went the following week and I went to this wonderful old temperance hall, if you can imagine, to convert it into a most amazing puppet theatre in North London near the Angels. So it was called the Little Angel Theatre. And I met John Wright, the founder director, his wife, Lindy, and the 4 other puppeteers, one of them being an apprentice at the time. And basically just 5 of them were literally running the theatre. John Wright, you know, had learned to typeset. So extraordinary, as well as getting the theatre established. I mean, it was it wasn't bombed in the war, but during the war, the church next door, great big St. Mary's Church, was bombed, and lots of the debris fell onto the roof of the temperance hall. They're quite close together. And so it was completely, they didn't use it, the Temperance Society, anymore. And it was just left as a rather, well, basically derelict building, really, apart from the 4 walls and the front, but the roof had been. And so, I mean, I think there were trees growing and all sorts of old, I mean, there's a lovely picture somewhere of what the theatre was like. And it really was. You thought, well, how on earth did John Wright get an idea that this would make a brilliant puppet theatre? Well, he did. And he managed to set up a charity called Pathanus. With charity, then you can ask for money from various other, you know, money people. And he managed to get some, I think he got money from various charities. I can't remember which ones they were at the time. I wasn't around, of course, at that time. And he managed to get a new roof put on. A local woodyard, Anderson's, supplied the wood, and a lot of the company themselves were painting the walls, and, you know, they had plasters in and stuff. And we had a lovely little theatre. Now I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like, because I could describe it, but I again, this is from a book that I published, and I put this is like my life story, so I'm looking to see if I can find the pictures. 1 second, here we go. Right, now I'm hoping you can see. Now that was the proscenium arch. It's rather tiny, and there you are. It's a bit better. That's the group of us. I'm the young one over here. And then there was Joyce the voice. She had a wonderful voice, and she had a lovely voice. And then we had who's next? Oh, Christopher Leith. He was the he was an apprentice. By then, I think he was the sort of top puppeteer. And then there was Mary, and then there was John there, and Lindy is sort of, you know, I don't know, not showing her face very much there. But that was the puppets behind. There were marionettes, lovely letterbox opening. And then that was the bridge. Now that's me as a young, I'm 15, by the way, there. And I climbed up on the bridge, and that was the prince I was holding. I wasn't operating straight away. You know, I mean, I had to learn all this stuff, but this gives you an idea of what the building was like. There's John, there's me, and there's Lindy. Sorry, I'll pull back. It's a bit blurry.
All good.
And you can see Rapunzel there. You can see the prince. And I think John is holding the witch. Sorry, it's a bit blurry because of the light. But, and then where am I? Somewhere in there. Oh, it's the other side. Sorry. That's me as a 15-year-old outside the theatre. Somebody took that's rather nice portrait. I was quite
great photo.
Yeah, I know. And that's me eventually. I mean, I'm running ahead, but I joined the company. They let me in. And that's me. Now you're wondering, what is he blowing down? He's got a hose in his mouth, and I'm blowing, well, basically I'm blowing smoke down a hose to a hole in the stage with a cauldron, which was the witch's cauldron. And with a cigarette, I was puffing there, and there was a red light in the cauldron. And that's the turtle who brings the Little Mermaid. It was the story of the Little Mermaid, which was the first show I saw there. What's all that? Oh, there we are. That's me up on the bridge. Sorry, that one's a bit dark. But anyway, so, I think have I shown you this one? That's the company again. That's a bit better.
That's a good photo.
Yeah, that's Mary and Joyce, myself at the bottom, Chris and John Wright being the boss, standing up at the back. And Lindy there as well. And that was the company. And well, what was wonderful, I saw the show, and it was The Little Mermaid, the Hans Andersen story, and I absolutely fell in love. I mean, it was the most beautiful puppets. John Wright was an amazing wood carver, and he carved the most amazing figures, and they were jointed beautifully, and they really worked well. And he was a designer. I think Lindy, in fact, his wife, took over the designing, but originally when he was starting, and he started, I think, in just after the war. So I'm talking about sort of early 40s. And he was South African, so he started in South Africa and did tours of Africa with his set of puppets first before coming over to England. Anyway, he basically made this lovely show, and Joyce, who I mentioned, who had the lovely theatrical voice, she was a lovely actress, and she played the mermaid, she played the princess Jasmine, and she also played the sea witch, and she did marvelous sort of wonderful voices. And she also did scene changes. She also was front of house. We all did everything. I mean, I swept the auditorium when I joined. But anyway, I did write a letter to I'm jumping ahead a bit, but I did write a letter to John Wright after I went for a few weekends just showing people in and just sort of loving being there. And he said, yes, I remember your visit to the theatre. And yes, I'm sure. And I sort of said, do you ever take apprentices on? I really would like to join you. And he's terribly sweet. I mean, I suppose he probably thought he quite liked me. I was quite a character, I suppose, and seemed to, the company seemed to like me. Anyway, and he said, yes, if we take you on, you'll be my second apprentice at the theatre. The theatre only opened in 1961. I'm talking about 1963, 64, that sort of time. And so basically, he said, we can take you on, but we won't be able to afford to pay you because we really are just establishing this theatre at this time. But we can teach you for services you render to the theatre, and we'll teach you every aspect of the theatre. And I thought, amazing. So I was 15 by then. And so I went back home and I said, Mom, Dad, I've seen this amazing theatre. Well, they knew I'd been to the theatre before, and John Wright has accepted me to be his second apprentice. And my father was a teacher, and he said, marvelous, marvelous. But tell me, what will they be paying you? And I sort of paused and said, oh, they're not paying me. They're teaching me for services rendered to the theatre. And of course, my father went, deep intake of breath. And then he decided to go out into the kitchen with my mum. Now, I thought they were out there for about half an hour discussing my future. Anyway, they came back. Mum had a twinkle in her eye and said, look, we've decided that we can somehow afford to send you to the Little Angel, but we'll give you 6 months because you'll have 3 months for you to think how you get on with everybody and all the rest of it. And then 3 months, more importantly, for them to see whether they can cope with you. So, so that was it. And I joined the company, and I just absolutely adored it. It was all about, as I say, sweeping the auditorium, tearing the tickets when people came in. I used to light this is all before health and safety was a sort of uproar, like it is now. But we used to have a little nightlight candle under the exit lights of the theatre, and that was my job before the show, and they just lasted the length of the performance. There was one at the back and one at the front, sort of thing. So we used to that was another job I did. I used to sweep the auditorium, and if I found any money, that was nice,
nice.
If anybody left anything, very rarely, but it was, and I did scene changes in the shows and stuff, and I absolutely loved it and got on with everybody, and they were lovely. And I did actually stay there for about 8 months in the end. Sadly, my father died when I was just 16. And so very kindly, John Wright gave me some money to, I can't remember what it was, but, just to pay my fares. So I stayed about 8 months to begin with. And then I moved on to work with another puppeteer who was very famous for a puppet called Muffin the Mule that was on television from the 1940s to the the middle of 1950s, 55. And it was the company that they called themselves. In fact, I'd met at the Puppet Guild, as I mentioned earlier. I met various puppeteers, and he needed a puppeteer to do stage management for their traveling shows, which was basically during the summer months. They did it. I'm just looking up. So I've got some pictures again. Sorry, here we go. So now that is their caravan. Now Jan is standing at the back with a white shirt. I'm holding a dragon. I hope you can see this.
Yeah.
A dragon puppet. And then Anne, his wife, Anne Hogarth, who used to work Muffin, who was sitting down. And John Blundell, who I mentioned earlier, who was working with Jerry Anderson, was there as well. John came along to see the shows. And the other guy sitting on, the guy sitting on the floor, I think he's there, is a guy called Richard Bradshaw, who was a shadow puppeteer from Australia, a friend of Edith Murray, the lady that took me originally to the theatre. Anyway, that was the sort of caravan, and that's me with Muffin sitting on my lap.
Oh,
that's awesome.
It's sweet. It really is sweet. That was the sort of backstage area. No, that's that one. I'm just seeing what other ones. And that was a sort of, I mean, we had sometimes smaller audiences, but that was the caravan set up, you see, with the roof of the caravan lifted up, and you could do glove puppets and rod puppets over the top of that. And then there was a little proscenium arch, and we did shows, you know, when my job was to pull the curtain up. I was on that side of the stage, so I pulled that curtain. I was on a roller, and there's the audience. And that was probably in, I think that one was a posh park. Yeah, that was Kensington Gardens or something. But we played all the London parks, and you know, all over. And that was for, oh gosh, that was all the summer, really. It was about 2 months' work. It was wonderful. And, you know, one learns a massive amount, you know, touring around 3 shows a day in 3 different parks, setting up the caravan. And everybody had a job to do, you know, to do it. So it was very routine. So we got into a really good routine. And I did work a few puppets then too in the show. And they've remained great friends until sadly they passed away. Wow. And I'm now friendly with their grandchildren, can you believe? And Lucinda and Will, they're both married with their own families, but I still work Muffin for them every now and again when asked. You know, they lend me Muffin for a, you know, sometimes it's can't remember the last time I was doing. I think it was for, oh gosh, I think I was doing a talk, and they wanted to know about the history of some of the early puppets, and I said, well, I can probably show you Muffin and blah blah blah. Anyway, that was it. So yes, they were wonderful. I am telling you the whole of my story. I will tell you at this stage. Of course, it's all in this wonderful book called Zippy.
We'll get to that, my friend.
But
Don't
anyway,
you worry.
You're very kind. Anyway, so really, from then I moved on and I worked with various other companies. I remained a member of the Puppet Guild, which was lovely, and so I, you know, in those days, you know, it was mostly letters that arrived offering you work or whatever. You know, obviously we didn't have the internet, and we didn't use the phone that much. And I was still living at home anyway at that sort of stage. But then I think the job after that was I did a theatre tour for a wonderful company called Clifford Heap's Miniature Theatre. And it was a production of Aladdin, but they called it Ala al Din. And we toured all over England, really. I remember playing Sunderland Empire, Chester Royalty Theatre. I think we played where is it? It's in Ealing, Questors Theatre, Ealing. We went all over different theatres, and that was fantastic to learn a little bit about actually setting up a stage and putting stuff up on tour. And there was 4 of us, I think, in this production, and they were short, very small marionettes, but beautiful sets and really lovely. I mean, to make a long story short, I went back again with the Jan Bustle and did more work with Jan and Anne, but then I also went back to the Little Angel and became, as John Wright said, one of his top puppeteers for operating marionettes and various other puppets, because of course, being a puppet theatre, you're able to work every kind of puppet. And so they used, for instance, there was a show called Cupid and Psyche, and the puppets, or the human characters, were marionettes on a smaller stage, and then all around there was a gap, and there was a pit at the bottom, and we used rod puppets because they were the gods. It was all about gods and humans, you know, the Greek gods and stuff like that. And Cupid was this god that flew in, and then we had a rod puppet version of him, and he fell in love with Psyche, and Venus, his mother, was furious that he's fallen in love with a mortal and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, that was lovely. And we had a bit of film in it. We had some glove puppets. So, you know, it was a lovely use of all sorts of puppetry. And I stayed really with the company probably up until about, I think, 1969. So it was a nice long time, and I'm still involved in the company. I mean, just to bring you right up to date, I'm about to do a season at the Little Angel that I'm all prepared, called Dogs Don't Do Ballet. And that will be starting in September the 13th. I've got to look. September the 13th. It goes on till November the 16th. And it's a fun show. I mean, it's basically a two-hander, and I'll be playing the little Biff the dog, but I also play Miss Polly. I do my drag act in that. And she's the ballet teacher, because basically what happens is there's a little girl that's got this very sweet little dog, but sadly, sadly for Miss Polly, the dog follows the little girl to her ballet class, and she suddenly sees this hideous looking animal in the ballet class and says, "Dogs don't do ballet." You know, he has to be taken away. But there's a whole story about how he actually becomes a beautiful ballet dancer. Where, you know, that's that lovely illustration. It was a lovely story that I absolutely loved. When we did it originally about 2014, and the author's absolutely sweet. And it was a fabulous book, lovely illustrations too. And so we just adapted it for puppets, and she was so happy, and the illustrator was very happy. We had a wonderful puppet maker. In fact, his first job as a puppet maker, but he did a fantastic job, called Keith Fredericks, and he made the puppets, and the lovely designer designed the sets for us, Tim Sykes. And so anyway, that's the wonderful thing about being in part of the Little Angel. I've become what they call an honorary associate of the theatre, because I've been around for, well, over 50 years with the theatre. So and I haven't been in every production, but I've been in a lot of them. And I also do a lot of teaching. There's a foundation course, and I teach puppetry for that. I don't run the course, but I come in as a guest tutor and do a few classes. Yeah, so I was very lucky. So we did some very interesting shows during the time I was first at the theatre. One of them was a production called The Soldier's Tale, which was written, the music was by Stravinsky, and it was put on at the Queen Elizabeth Hall, you know, in London. And that's 1,100 people sit in that auditorium. And so we had Daniel Barenboim, young Daniel Barenboim. This was sort of about 1968, 67 time. And John Wright got this commission to do this show. And it's absolutely wonderful. And it was, in a way, it was like the war horse of its day. Lots of people came to see this production, which was fabulous, actually. And it had a devil in it, and the devil tries to get the soul of a soldier. And there's a ballerina that the soldier falls in love with, and eventually they go off together. But the devil, you know, comes back, and you know, it's not a children's show at all. It's very much an adult piece, but beautiful. And Lindy Wright, John's wife, designed amazing puppets and everything. And we had large figures, a bit like the War. I don't know whether you know about Warhorse. Warhorse was a story that was put on at the National Theatre a few years ago, and it's become a worldwide sensation as a show. And way back in 1969, we put this production on, and even in 1969, the press, in a way, thought, well, puppets are for kids. You know, they're not for. It isn't a sort of adult entertainment. Although in Eastern Europe, and certainly in some parts of Middle Europe, puppetry is very much, you know, an adult show as well as a family and children's show. Anyway, so not a lot of, I suppose, press. The critics, you know, from the big papers came. There was one that used to come from the Daily Telegraph. He was a ballet critic, actually, Furno Hall, and he came along and did some regular reviews for us. but very few other ones did. I mean, this is before, I don't know when Time Out came out, but you know, Time Out was, you know, eventually, you know, was around. But anyway, we got this production on. We had an actor called Michael Flanders who narrated the show. We had a brilliant voice man playing the devil, and we had gosh, as I say, Daniel Barenboim, the English, not the, what was it called? Oh, gosh, I forgot the something orchestra. It's gone out of my head. I can't remember. But anyway, this wonderful orchestra that he conducted. He also played a piano for a piece called A Box of Toys, which was a Debussy piece, which was shadow puppets as a curtain raiser to the big show. Anyway, to make a long story short, all the press came along and did some wonderful reviews. And I think that put the Little Angel and John Wright on the map as far as this place is really a place that one should go. And he was always, his whole philosophy was that puppets weren't just for children. They were for, you know, for adults, for everyone. And so this really nailed that situation. People did, I mean, eventually there were puppet festivals at the Little Angel and stuff like that. And so there was shows for adults as well as families and children. So it was wonderful. So that was really, really wonderful. And after that, I mentioned John Blundell, who was working with Jerry Anderson. And at that time, he had left Jerry Anderson and decided to form his own company at the Midlands Arts Centre in Birmingham. And I joined him with a year's contract just to, you know, do something different. And I did lots of, oh my goodness, I think I'd spent a year there. I got my equity card there too. Little Angel wasn't equity registered sort of thing. It was, you know, it was fine, but you know, we just didn't do that. But this was an equity theatre, normal theatre, as we say, and it was wonderful. I mean, we did production. We did Cinderella. That was the first production I was in. We did I'm trying to remember, at least 5 different productions, all made there. We all rehearsed and made and performed. We performed live as well. We performed our own voices and everything, doing everything. And there was about 5 or 6 of us in the company, and that was a great training ground. And I'm very grateful for John for, you know, starting the company and everything. And it was the Midlands Arts Centre was the very first arts centre to be built in England. So it was built, I think, I think the original building, it was called Foyle House. And I think that was built in the middle 60s. And I didn't join till there was the Studio Theatre built and the Hexagon. You know, as they got more money, they extended the buildings in Cannon Hill. Now it's wonderful. It's still going very strong. It's amazing. And they have a wonderful cinema, restaurant and theatre. And, you know, it's all going, it's right near Edgbaston, near the cricket ground. Yes. So, and in this lovely park, Cannon Hill Park. So it is fabulous. Anyway, so I did that. And then I came back to John Wright and did a few more years with John. And that goes on. And we toured America. We toured all over Europe. My goodness, we toured, Denmark. We did a month in Denmark. I went to Israel. We toured Israel for, I know, it's just amazing what you can do with puppets. Have puppets will travel. And it was just wonderful. And then about 1970, I was in the workshop of the puppet theatre. By then I performed my own glove puppet show. When I wasn't doing shows at Little Angel, I was doing my glove puppet shows in libraries and children's parties and all that sort of thing. So I was making a little bit of money on my own with my own shows. But also I was performing for the young children's shows, excuse me, on Saturday morning at the Little Angel. So it was great. And that was a live show with a bit like a glove puppet, like a Punch and Judy show. It wasn't Punch and Judy, but it was very much audience participation and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And anyway, I was doing that. And then I was in the workshop I wasn't making. Fun enough, I'm one of these few puppeteers that don't make puppets. I think I was all in awe of the workshop when I first joined the theatre. I thought I'll never be able to carve, you know, and do all these amazing, beautiful things. And I became an expert sander of all the wooden joints and things. That was my, which, you know, I was quite proud of. Anyway, in 1970 there was a knock at the workshop door, and it was a producer from a Thames program, a new program. She was talking to John Wright. Her name was Pamela Lonsdale, and she brought a researcher along with her. And then further along the workshop, I was having this set of puppets made, and it was a show that, funny enough, I never in a way finished. But anyway, it was called the Hubble Bubble, as I called them. Don't ask me why. And there was one of the puppets there, which was I called Grumble Bubble. He was the sort of boring, grumbly one. And he had two little black eyes. He was like a brown, like a potato shape, and bit of black wool for his hair. And he had a zip for his mouth. Now, I have no proof. I have no proof. But I always think that the researcher came along and was looking at these various characters and thought, that's an idea for a puppet. Zip. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I didn't see her write anything down. I don't know whether this is true, but I like to think it was, because it was so sort of obvious. I have got the puppet. It's in the other room. I could, if you want to wait, I can go and get it for you and I'll show it to you. Do you want to see it?
Let's go on. Yeah, go on. Go on.
I do it.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Thanks, Ronnie.
I'm going to get Zippy to talk to you. It's a bit tight. Here we are. Ugh.
Doesn't matter. He was staring at us. That was all.
I know, it's a bit sad. Now, this is him.
Oh,
wow.
Very strange. But there's his, you know, his zip across his, sorry, it's here, you know, right there, and zipped across, and he's got these funny little black eyes. Sorry, it's a bit dark in this room. But,
you're good. You're good.
But anyway, there he was. And that was lying on the workshop. But I mean, it's a strange looking potato looking thing. But anyway, and I like to think that the researcher saw that and wrote it down. And Pamela, the producer, was talking to John, and she was saying, you know, we're doing this young preschool program, and you know, we're making it ourselves. We're not we're not doing Sesame Street because the educational people have asked us, you know, that it's too American. You know, there's too many Americanisms, like, you know, sidewalk, and you know, I can't remember. You know, it wasn't right. And some of the things, although the puppetry, and of course it was Jim Henson and amazing, but anyway. So, and John said, I'm terribly sorry, I can't make puppets for you because I'm too busy running the theatre, and we've got productions coming up that I just don't have the time. I think, you know, funny enough, I sometimes this happens, that a television company or a production company will come to you and say, you know, in 2 weeks' time, we're doing this filming and we'd like this puppet. And they don't realize how long it takes to make a puppet. I mean, a puppet that's going to last and work properly.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, John just didn't have the time at the time. Anyway, they went away. And then about a year later, my friend Violet, who I mentioned a bit earlier, phoned me up and said, oh, Ronnie, you never guess, I've been asked to do this new preschool program for Thames Television. I said, oh, wonderful, Violet. She says, yes, I've got to work a puppet. And I voice one of the characters. I said, oh, that's fantastic. Anyway, tell me when it's on. Anyway, it started, and I've got the date somewhere. The very first Rainbow program started on the 16th of October, 1972. And so anyway, I turned it on to watch it, and there was this character. Violet had made an original Zippy, slightly different from him. And there it was, this character with a zip across it, that's called Zippy. Obviously, I didn't call my character Zippy, but I thought, oh my goodness. Anyway, I said to Violet, you know, once I saw a couple of the programs, I said, it's great, you're doing lovely. But she didn't voice it at the time. It was, in fact, you probably would know this voice artist. He was a man called Peter Hawkins, and he was very famous for being Bill and Ben, the voice of Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men, and also the Daleks, because he was one of the original Daleks with David Graham and Roy Skelton, various people that did, you know, voice them for Doctor Who. So anyway, and his voice was a bit sort of, oh, hello, I'm Zippy, a bit slower, a bit different.
Yeah.
Anyway, Violet did it for a while, did it for the first series, and sadly, I think what happens, you know, when she wanted to always form her own company, and suddenly she was earning a bit more money because the television, you know, obviously paid, you know, a lot more than what she normally got for doing puppet shows. Same, you know, for anybody really. And she sadly was sitting. There was the window on Rainbow, and the puppets used to appear over that. and I don't think they were brought in the first series. I think they always stayed at the window. But anyway, and it's quite awkward. You're twisting your back and you're hiding your head under the window frame. Anyway, she did her back in, bless her, and so she couldn't continue working the puppet, and it was mid-series. So, and because she was doing she was voicing another puppet which was called Mooney, and that was like for the maybe first and second series, but it was dropped after a while. But and so they had to go to her house, bless, and she was lying, flat on the floor, trying to, because she'd slipped a disc or something, and they recorded voice. But I mean, really sad, really. But anyway, another puppeteer took over doing Zippy, and he was a mate of mine who had been at the Little Angel Theatre, and his name was John Thurtle, and he took over working Zippy. And he then decided that he'd prefer, he was a very good puppet maker. In fact, learned his trade at the Little Angel for a while. But he was also a genius person. But anyway, he started making the Zippies that we all know and love. So they became, and then after a while, I can't remember when, I think it was series 2, they brought George in, the pink hippo. Yes. And as a sort of, what do you call it? He was I've forgotten the word, a stooge for Zippy, which was great because all Georgie, oh yes, I'm very sorry, he was just sort of said, oh thank you Zippy, he hardly did, where Zippy was always rattling on. So anyway, so John did the series for a while. I mean, all of the end of, or right up to almost the end of 1973. And then he phoned me up and said, Ronnie, would you be interested in taking over in my part of Zippy? Because basically I'm really busy. Him and his partner, Ian Allen, they'd made a program on the BBC while Rainbow was off air for a bit, called Playboard. And that was on the BBC. And that was quite successful. And then while he was at Thames, the children's television producers there were quite keen for him to do anything. They said, look, come and do something with, it sounds like you're really, we need some more puppet shows sort of thing. And so he made a program. Well, his partner, Ian, wrote Button Moon. I don't know if you've heard of Button Moon. It was on the preschool. So he wrote, that's right. And there's a singer in our midst. Anyway, so Ian wrote it. John made all the puppets, and Ian, I think, designed some of the puppets. It was very much a double act, and they got that on, and that was being made. Well, he just didn't have time constructing all that stuff and doing all that. So he asked me, and I went along and had a word with Pamela Lonsdale, the producer. And she's, I went for lunch or something. I mean, or the Thames Teddington. And I mean, it was amazing. She said, well, would you be able to start quite soon? And I thought, well, what's quite soon? He said, well, she didn't say next week, but it was I think I had about 2 weeks grace, and I was able to watch the program a bit to sort of get back into it and see. And I started on the 29th of October, 1973, and stayed working Zippy right to Zippy's and Thames Television's demise in 1992, and then carried on doing another series for Tetra Films, and still doing Zippy now because he makes appearances in lots of other stuff. That's coming right up to date. But yeah, so I had over 20 years and over 1,000 programs making Rainbow with a wonderful group, and we all got on incredibly well. And so that's how I started. That's where Rainbow came along. I was still doing shows. I mean, this is before I got married, but I was still doing shows at the Little Angel at the weekends because I knew most of the repertoire because I'd been sort of part of the company. So I didn't let John write down too much. I remember him saying to me, he said, oh, you've sold your soul to the television studios or something. And I said, no, John, I haven't really. I love doing live performances as well. Anyway, so I didn't let him down too much. But, and as I say, I'm still part of the theatre in a in a sort of, it's much more a freelance thing now. They employ puppeteers per production, and it's and sadly, like all theatre today, there isn't a lot of money around for the arts, and so they normally have a show that only has 2 puppeteers in it, so that they can afford, because the theatre seats only, I think it's 85, in lovely benches now. They used to have funny old Collins musical seats, but it was improved and enlarged over the years. And they have all sorts of different productions, as I say. But and anyway, so yeah, that's my beginnings. It's a long, I've probably spoken for an hour about my whole life, but anyway, that was
No, we love it.
And I continued while I was doing Rainbow. Of course, Jim Henson had arrived in this country to start the Muppet Show, and that was over at Elstree Television Studios then. And I went along. I had a friend, Nigel, who was working on Pipkins. He was Hartley Hare, the Hare in Pipkins. Anyway, puppet. And we'd both met. I think he was 12 and I was 14, so I'd known him for years. And I said, "Oh, I want to come along and see Pipkins, but actually I want to see the Muppet Show." Anyway, so and I did go along while the Muppets were in the studio. So I saw, I think, probably some of the second series, which was amazing, sitting in the audience watching, this amazing company who were really strong, and again using puppets without what we call a playboard to hide the puppeteers behind. Yeah. The cameras just cut off puppeteers' heads and stuff. So there was a lot, and they were standing so they could move around and do all sorts of lovely things. So no, and of course Lou Grade had spent a lot of money on the Muppet Show. He brought the Jim Henson over because, funny enough, he tried to get the Muppet Show on in American, television companies, but they just thought, no, we know you do Sesame Street, but Muppet, nah, I don't think so. And they never did. But Lou Grade thought, this sounds like a good idea, and they all came over to London to film the Muppet Show, which of course turned into a worldwide success. And then while they were doing the Muppet Show, and they did, I don't know how many series, but quite a few series during that time, they made the Muppet movie, I think, over here. And then there was another, I forgot what the second one was, but at the time, this is now coming up sort of early 80s, they did a film called The Dark Crystal. This was Jim's first sort of, in a way, stepping away from the Muppets. They were wonderful creatures, the Skeksis and the Podlings and all these amazing, the Gelflings, the 2 sort of semi-human characters, and they were all set in strange lands and stuff. Anyway, they made that. I was too busy doing Rainbow and the Little Angel at that time, but not long afterwards, he continued to make these rather fantastical movies, and one of them was Labyrinth, which of course had David Bowie in it, and wonderful Jennifer Connelly and all these lovely people, and they needed extra puppeteers. They originally had, I think, 20 additional puppeteers, but when they were coming to do the song with the babe and in his goblin castle with all these goblins everywhere, and I mean the whole screen was full of them. So they needed extra people. So he had an audition for extra, and he by that time had bought a house in Hampstead, so it was a lovely house he had there. And also there was a church, a local church hall, and we all went along, and there must have been, I don't know how many young puppeteers, older puppeteers, and goodness knows what. And I had a puppet made. They said you can do a 5-minute piece, and we'll watch it, and we can decide whether we think you're good enough, or you can just do a bit of improv. So I decided to do improv. I thought I'd be too nervous because, weirdly enough, over the years I hadn't done any auditions. It would been because I was at the theatre. Other puppeteers who needed another puppeteer would perhaps see me and talk to me, and I'd be in a show, and they'd say, "Well, he might be all right. He's probably good. We don't need to just book him." And that's what happened. Anyway, so this is. I hope you can see him all right, because it's a little beaver puppet that it's a remake of the one I had for Labyrinth. Oh, hi there. And I did it with this terrible American accent, which I'm talking to Americans. I mean, I just thought beavers would talk sort of like that. Oh, hi. I'm going to do an audition for Jim Henson. Very nice. But first of all, I got to get myself ready. So he was, he did all this sort of stuff. So he was cleaning his
That's
fur,
amazing.
and then he would do his back. Oh, stop it. Don't be rude. Anyway, so, and that was him. And I did this silly little bit of stuff, and some of the puppeteers came up and improvised with me and the puppet there as well. And Jim was sitting in the back with probably Frank Oz. I can't remember, a lot of amazing people. And anyway, they said, don't call us, we'll call you, the classic cliche. Yeah. And I remember leaving the room, there was a whole lot of older puppeteers that we knew, and a whole lot of new youngsters who probably knew every single Muppet character, what they did. And I thought at the time, I looked across and I thought, I don't know you, but I bet you'll get the job because you're so into the Muppets. And I was into the Muppets quite a lot, but not like knowing every single character or that sort of thing. I saw the programs when I could, and all the rest of it, I was too busy doing other bits. Anyway, I was terribly lucky. I remember going down the road past the church hall or whatever, and I sort of went, screamed. It was just so, I don't know, I was a bit sort of over the top with it all. I just thought, oh my God, I've never done that. I hope I don't have to do that again. Anyway, of course, it wasn't emails in those days. I got a phone call from the Henson Company saying, we'd like to use you as an additional puppeteer for Labyrinth. So I was over the moon. And I can't remember how many weeks we spent there, but I'll just show you some pictures. Where are we?
Beautiful. It's one of my favorite films of all time. So this is amazing.
Isn't it interesting how it came out first, and it was a bit, not a flop, but it didn't make hardly any money for Henson's. It was really sad. Sorry, I'm just looking for the couple of pictures I've got of Labyrinth. Here we are. I hope you can see that. That's me with one of the goblins. That's me in my youth, bearded in those days.
Good man.
And then there's that's another one with me sitting on Jareth's throne there.
That's amazing.
With another one, and that was the main scene. But we did lots of different goblins. I mean, we were in that scene, which was amazing because oh my goodness, David was sort of singing the song, and we must have taken about a week to film that one scene because there was so much going on.
Yes,
and the different angles. It was just amazing. We had the little people in mask things, and they were jumping up and down. They were on sort of pulleys and stuff. We had marionette flying creatures, live chickens, and all sorts of stuff, all mingled up in that. And there was a sort of pit just below where David was singing the song and throwing the baby up in the air. By the way, when he threw the long shots, it was always a baby, a doll. And then the close-ups, because that was lovely Toby Froud, who's now must be 40 by now. But I mean, he was, he was there. And that was Brian Froud, his dad, and his mum, Wendy. They designed all those amazing creatures and also designed Dark Crystal and Running On from Labyrinth. They also designed with Toby as well, now grown up, Dark Crystal Age of Resistance for Netflix, which I worked on. But so yeah, I mean, that was just a joy. I mean, we did, through a plaster thing, we stuck the puppet through and worked it. We had horrible monitors. They were like computer. I mean, this is early 80s, so it was, they didn't have the technology they've got now. And it was very difficult to see where our puppets were because we were background artists. We knew, but every time they, came in with, oh, there we are, and we were singing that chorus all the time. I mean, miming to the song. Yeah. And then that film was just wonderful. I went and carried on doing a Rainbow, and then Frank Oz, and I hope I've got the order right, but Frank Oz then got commissions again, this time in Pinewood Studios, to do Little Shop of Horrors, the film of the musical. That was just amazing. So I did some vines on the plant. That was wonderful. I mean, there was a whole probably 30 or 40 of us underneath Mushnik's flower shop, and they're all cabled and stuff like that. And we had, again, excuse me, monitors, and they were like on metal levers like this, what we pulled, and a bit like signals in signal boxes, you know, that sort of thing. We're underneath them. There's a whole load of us, a whole row of us, and the leaves would work like, because they were all sort of very, very cleverly made by an American guy, in fact worked on Labyrinth as well, and I'm trying to remember his name, which is appalling. It'll come back to me possibly when I'm talking, but absolutely wonderful. And then I was given a little bit of extra in the film. I had well, the scene with Mushnik, who was being there was the young boy, and he was pointing the gun at Mushnik, and the flower shop owner, and saying, you know, what is going on here, you know, or something. And he said, oh, don't, you know, be careful, you know. And he suddenly, Mushnik turns around and sees this whacking great plant, because plant started as a tiny thing and then grew and grew and grew. And he looks like that. And then they cut to Rick Moranis, you know, who is the actor that played the boy. And then he falls into this is Mushnik, into the plant's mouth, and he gets eaten. Well, yes. When you see Rick going, and then they cut, and you just see the legs kicking, being swallowed up. Well, I was kicking the legs there were rods like somebody else was doing. So that was quite nice. And then there was another bit in the film that I did, which was, I mean, these are only seconds, but I mean, I was thinking, oh my God, I did that. It was with one of the vines. There's right at the end of the film, Audrey 2, the plant, was phoning up Audrey in her flat across the way to come over, and he was obviously going to eat her, I suppose, or whatever. And so there's a scene where there was a telephone box, you know, a paid one, and one of the vines put I don't know what, 10 cents into the telephone, and then another vine came up and dialed the number, and that was me dialing the thing, and I loved that. So that was fun. And I adored working on that film. I love that film. I mean, I love being in Pinewood. It's so iconic studios. It was all basically, you know, all the carry-on films have been made there. Of course, Bond films, all the sort of inserts, and the huge Bond stage there. And no, it was, you know, wonderful. And then after that, I think I did Muppet Christmas Carol. That was in Shepperton Studios, another iconic studios where lots of British films were made. And that was fun. That was with Michael Caine playing Scrooge, and it was all the Muppet characters. So you had, you know, Kermit and Gonzo and Rizzo and all these lovely. In fact, there was I think it's a beautiful film. It was the first film that Brian Henson directed after his dad had died, and I think he did an absolute brilliant job. The music's lovely. I think, well, gosh, well, the whole thing. I mean, I've forgotten his name. This is dreadful. See, I've been wittering on so much. Scrooge, which was, what was his name? I just said Michael Caine. Sorry, okay. Yeah. Michael was brilliant, and there was a lovely scene that we did puppets looking through. There was a scene where Scrooge and I think it was Kermit and maybe Gonzo and Rizzo, they were walking in the snow down a street, and lots of puppets were looking out of windows, and we were doing those sort of puppets, keeping them alive. But then there was a lovely scene a bit later on in the film when Scrooge had sort of turned over a new leaf and brought a great big turkey for the Cratchit family. It's the very end of the film. And there were friends of the Cratchit family, and we were doing puppets in a pit. And there was the table, and Michael was sitting on a chair, you know, you wouldn't know that there was a pit beneath. And we were there doing the puppets. And I remember you know, the camera pulled back, and we were just, you know, looking at the food and you know, just doing all that sort of reacting. And at one point they were setting up another camera angle or something. And Michael looked down at us, and he said things like, "You're right, guys. You're brilliant, you lot. I mean, you know, I never look at you. I'm just looking at the puppets," and all that. And I thought that was terribly so. Lovely man, by the way, really lovely. And, you know, we wanted to say, well, you're not bad yourself, actually, you know, you're quite good.
You could do this for a profession, mate.
Exactly. No, but it was lovely. And it's the same with David Bowie, by the way. There was, when we were in Labyrinth, we those pictures I showed you of me sitting on the throne, Jareth's throne, and the other one, we were allowed in those days to take, we had an Instamatic camera, that's why the colour's a bit funny. And we took pictures of ourselves, you know, the puppeteers holding the goblins that we worked, sort of thing. And it was in the lunch hour. So anyway, suddenly in the lunch hour, there's David back on his own, walks in with the dressing gown on, over the costume and everything. And he said, "You all right, guys?" And I turned around and went, yes, thank you. You know, I could hardly speak. And he said, he said something like, "Oh, you're doing, it's wonderful. You know, I don't get a chance to say, but you're all brilliant." You know, and I thought, and again, we wanted to say, "Well, actually, Mr. Bowie, oh, fine, you're just saying." But he was really lovely, not at all starry. In fact, there were some puppeteers in those days, you know, used to go out of the studio to have a little cigarette, and he did like this, you know, cigarette or two. And so some of the puppeteers who smoked, I never did, but would, you know, he'd be standing just out of the stage doors or whatever it was, and they, you know, he would chat to everybody as though they were just, you know, we're all in the same job together, sort of thing. So that was really lovely. Now progressing after Muppet Christmas Carol, I did Muppet Treasure Island, which again was directed by Brian Henson, and that had Tim Curry, the wonderful actor Tim Curry, and a whole lot of English you know, character actors in it. And we did like pigs and pirates in the boat, this wonderful big ship they built on set which rocked and everything. I did some pirates jumping overboard, and we strung them because they said, "Oh, you've done string puppets, so could you like to do that scene?" So, you know, it was very nice. So I did a few of those. What happened after that? I think after that, you know, I should have had a list, shouldn't I? As I forget, which is very bad. But I can bring you right up to date. 2 years ago, I did a documentary with these lovely puppets. Now, these were just, that's Shakes versus Shavit's. Now, that's George Bernard Shaw, the big one there. And then this one is Shakespeare. You see him all right there.
Yeah.
And they're marionettes, but the strings have been taken off. Sorry, it's a bit better. Oops.
That's good.
There you are.
Yeah.
And that was for a company in Dublin. So we went across to Dublin and we filmed it. And it's basically George Bernard Shaw's final play that he wrote. He died in about 1950, I think. And he was well in his 90s. He wrote this play. Basically, it was Shaw himself in the play and Shakespeare. But it was about, like, Shaw had quite a big ego, really, and he was saying to Shakespeare, you know, you get all the credit, why can't I get all the credit? And it was a sort of comedy, seeing the two of them having a bit of a thing. And then they did a puppet show within a puppet show, which was quite nice, and we had some shadow puppets in it, and that's being shown on Irish television, but also doing the rounds of the film festivals, because it's only short, it was about half an hour or something. And so hopefully next year the BBC will take it, but the Irish television put a lot of money into this particular documentary. And I mean, Derek Jacobi played Shakespeare, and a wonderful Irish actor played Shaw. So they're quite big names, and we were just operating the marionettes. But that hopefully in 2025, next year, they'll be able to show the film, you know, on the BBC or wherever, ITV, whatever. So we're looking forward to that, because I have seen a shortened version of it, and it looked lovely. To be honest, I was quite pleased. You know how you do your own work and you think, no, I don't know whether that'll be any good or not. But actually, they filmed it beautifully, and it was a lovely, lovely company. We had a great time filming. It's just two main operators doing the two puppets, and then we had another puppeteer, Claire, and she was assisting, doing special moves and stuff. And then we had a brilliant puppet maker who actually made the figures, and there was a costume maker who did those fantastic costumes, and he was there, Daryl was there to assist, to make sure that everything was going to work all right, sort of thing. And that was about can't remember, about 8 days work out in Dublin, which was lovely. My first time to Dublin. And then just recently, there was a film. I've been, when I'm doing shows, I mean, I talked about The Little Angel, but I've also worked with lots of other companies and independent things, plus all these other films and stuff. I worked at the Norwich Puppet Theatre, and that's an old converted church in Norwich. And for the last 2 years, I've been doing their Christmas season there, which has been wonderful, really lovely. And while I was there the first year, I got this phone call on my mobile from a producer saying, look, would you be free to, we'd like you to come to London for a chat to me and the director. We're doing this sort of psychological thriller, and we've got a puppet sequence in. We'd be interested in you coming. And I said, I'm terribly sorry, I can't leave Norwich at the moment because I'm doing this season and I've got 2 shows a day. I said, I can do a Zoom. So they said, yeah, okay. And so we did a Zoom meeting, and it was basically the film called A Quiet Place Day One. Have you heard of that? I don't know. It's there's 2 other films previous to this called A Quiet Place, and I think Quiet Place 2 or something. And it's about, well, this particular one is the prequel. It happened before the first two are made. It's the way they did it. And Paramount, got the new director and new actors, and it was, I'm just going to try and pronounce everybody's name. Lupita Nyong'o, I think her name is. She was a brilliant actress. And then there was Joseph Quinn, and the director was Michael Sonosky. And it's just, well, it came out on June the 28th over here, in this country.
Yes.
And it was shown at the, the big cinema, the cinema with the biggest screen. Oh dear, forgotten what you call the big screen now. But
IMAX.
Anyway, IMAX, thank you very much.
Welcome.
All this technology. This is the puppet, the marionette that was made for me by a lovely man called Peter O'Rourke, a brilliant puppeteer. I actually got him to make the puppet, and it's a little boy in his, sorry, I'm just showing you down there. That's a balloon, but it's been popped there by now. And basically the story was this little boy, I brought this puppet on, so I was supposed to be in New York on stage doing a marionette act, and Lupita and other cast members were watching this marionette show, and she was a bit like sitting there thinking, oh, why am I going to go and see a puppet show type thing? But anyway, it did move her a bit because the puppet comes on. Well, I come on with a suitcase. I take open the lid of the suit, take the puppet out, and the boy starts to blow up a balloon. And how that works is there's a rubber tube down his arm, and it comes up the back, and I've got it in my mouth, and I'm blowing, and the balloon is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which is a lovely little act. And then suddenly he lifts off the ground because the balloon, takes him off the ground, and he flies around the stage. And as he's flying around the stage, enjoying himself, suddenly the balloon pops and he falls down on the ground, and he gets up and looks like that. And then they cut to her, and she is a bit shocked. I mean, there's a whole long story about the rest of the film, but that was my little bit in it. And you do these puppet sequences, you think, well, I wonder whether it would be in the final cut. And it was, and I got a lovely credit. I think my name of the character's name was I know the surname Munro. So it wasn't Ryan Munro, it was something wrong. Anyway, you've got Lupita, you've got Joseph Quinn, and a couple of actors, and then puppeteer Ronnie Ledrew, this name. So I was a character. So I was really thrilled, and to see myself in IMAX, which is like enormous, doing this puppet, which was lovely. So that was amazing to do that, and I did that about a year ago, and then of course it came out this year, which was lovely. And so there's, I don't know, I suppose I'm incredibly lucky to do all this stuff still. I'm supposed to be retired, but puppeteers a bit like old actors, they carry on till the end, sort of thing, till they drop, I think. But as long as I'm fit, I'll carry on. And so I do things with Zippy on programs like The Last Leg, if you know that, Channel 4.
Love that show.
I love that show. They are wonderful to work with, hilarious. the reason why Zippy got onto that was that, you know, it's a live show and somebody tweeted in or X'd in or whatever you call it, a comment something like, Josh Whitcomb, you sound like Zippy. And so they thought they'd bring Zippy as a surprise guest the following week. And I don't think Josh knew. And then Zippy popped up and said, you know, and of course, is it Alex? No,
Alex Brooker.
Alex, lovely Alex Brooker. But there was also the lovely Australian guy who's brilliant.
Adam Hills.
Adam Hills. Thank you so much for your
You're welcome,
name.
Ronnie. Sorry.
Adam, you know, you've got to get a word in edgeways, haven't you, really? I do apologise. Anyway, so Adam is amazing presenter. I mean, he's so quick and fast, and they're both, all of them are lovely. Anyway, and he sort of said, "Oh, Zippy, you know, you sound like," and I said, "Oh, and he said, well, you sound like Josh Whitcomb." I said, "Oh, don't. He sounds like," you know, and I was doing all this, and then Josh walked in, and there was a lovely sort of just a bit of silly nonsense with them, and then I appeared on it again. I've forgotten, and now I know the first name, Rylan, who is the guy with the beard, and
yes,
he presents stuff.
Yeah.
He was there as a guest, and they, as a joke, he was going to marry a gimp with a zip, you know, the funny. And so we had this scene where Ryland and this gimp were going down, and I think Adam was the priest, and I think can't what Josh what was Josh doing, but I think Alex was playing an organ for the, you know, supposed to be in a church or something, and Zippy was behind the pulpit with the rings because he was the best man, and that was the idea for that. And that, I mean, that was so funny. And Ryland's lovely, by the way. He's really, I mustn't be rude, but I thought, oh, I wonder whether I'm going to like this guy, you know, whether he's just a bit too much. Absolutely genuine, really nice. And he's been doing brilliant stuff on the radio, these interviews with people. And it's like, I think he's sort of left that rather silly over the top camp thing. And he's really concentrating on being, and he's really bright and really nice guy. Anyway, so that was lovely. And another thing I've been doing for quite a few years is these comic cons all over England, actually. And this year, early on in the year, I think it was in February or something, I did the London Film Comic Con, which is huge. It's in Olympia, and they've got this massive stuff where they sell merchandise in the main hall of the Olympia, and that's big. And then around the gallery, all these guests were there, and I'm there selling my book. Mention the book again, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, and photographs and signing stuff. And there was the actor from Harry Potter. There was Doctor Who people. I think Colin Baker was there. I can't remember. I mean, lots of people. And we were all sitting on a long table signing our stuff. And I think it's because it was my first London one. Fun enough, I don't have an agent or anything. I mean, I wait for them to contact me, basically. It's not that I'm grand. It's just, you know, it's the way it is. And anyway, a guy who was involved in that has now booked me. I mean, I penciled in for next year. I mean, a load of Comic Cons all over the world, not all over the world, all over England and Scotland, I think, as well. I think Glasgow's one of them. But I mean, it's extraordinary how that's taken off. And it's lovely, actually, meeting the fans. And they all chat about, you know, what was it like on Rainbow? And I've managed to buy a whole load of my books to, you know, to sell, as well as signing photographs with pictures of me with Zippy and all the rest of it. And I've got to know some of the Doctor Who people and all that. They're lovely. I did one in Weston-super-Mare, yes, last weekend, and Colin Baker was there. Fraser Hines was there, one of the original actors in, you know, Doctor Who. Who else was there? It was quite a few, and it was quite nice. We had a sort of lunch break, you know, from the fans, and we just had a drink, and it was really nice chatting to them afterwards, you know, a little bit, and because they won't know me, but I have a Zippy shirt, very loud, with lots of pictures of Zippy all over me, and of course they knew who I was, and Fraser hadn't seen or heard about what they call the Rude Rainbow, which came out in 1976, and it wasn't really rude. It was for the people upstairs. I will talk about.
I was going to say, I didn't want to ask about that.
Yeah, I thought you might. And they put it. There's somebody had it on their phone. It's on YouTube, and they clicked it. And Fraser thought it was the most hilarious thing that he'd seen in years. He just hadn't seen it. But anyway, so that's really lovely. And as I say, I do a lot of teaching. I've got a wonderful older chap who just comes in once a month to learn marionetting. He's got a puppet. He's had one made for him, beautifully carved figure. And he comes in once a month to the house, and I train there. And then, as I say, loads of Comic Cons. And I do have quite a lot of fan mail, which is extraordinary. Again, it's so funny because it's the puppet that's the main thing. But now I think because I've done quite a few podcasts now. I think COVID started the whole thing off, and people have asked me all over the place, and I've done quite a few. But it's always lovely. I love doing it. And of course, I've got into the habit of just chatting to people I don't even know on the phone. No, but it's really, it's really nice. And they're really genuine. Everyone, they're real fans. But let me tell you, I must tell you, I suppose, about the Rude Rainbow. 1976, we were all performing the show, and it was a studio day. And one of I think the VTR people, the video recording people upstairs, suddenly said, look, we're putting a Christmas tape together of all the stuff that goes wrong, with the ITV shows. So if Morecambe and Wise do something silly, or if a newsreader does something, everything. And we'd love something from Rainbow because, everybody loves it. So, and we thought, yeah, all right. And we can do it on a Thursday, record this little bit, because on Wednesdays, we recorded 2 programs, and that was, from 9 till, I think we worked 9 till 8 or something in the evening. So there wasn't time with the musical numbers and everything else to put everything together. But usually on Thursday, as it's 1, there's always a little bit of time at the end in case we have to re-record something. Anyway, luckily, the program was quite a simple one on the Thursday, and there was a bit of time left. And I think during the lunch hour, we all got together. And I didn't add too much to it, but Roy Skelton was doing the voices of Zippy and George then, and Stanley and Jeffrey. And in fact, it wasn't Jane, Rod and Freddie, actually, it was Jane, Rod and Roger. Roger Walker was the singer in the 1976 there. But anyway, we all put little ideas in. So we had the story that it would, be as a Rainbow program, absolutely sort of spot on. But our producer said, look, there's no way that you're going to do any swearing, but you can do like schoolboy humor. So basically it started with Zippy peeling a banana, or looking at a banana peeled, like 1 skid, 2 skid, 3 skid, 4. Oh, George, you've got a little one, haven't you? Oh, yes, I have. Or something, all this sort of rubbish. And then Jeffrey said, well, I'm playing with my balls. And he was tossing tennis balls up in the air, but that sort of stuff. And then Jane came in, she said, I'm playing with my knockers. And she had a wooden thing with hammers and all this sort of stuff. And then there was a lovely scene. I can't remember something. Jane had a lovely line saying something like, I've been not having a way, I don't know what, doing something all night with Bungle, or something terrible, something. It wasn't with Bungle, but with one of the singers, and all double meanings, all schoolboy humor. And
Bungle's playing with his twanger, was it?
Oh, that's right. Of course we all sang the twang. Well, we had twangers in the actual program, and that came about because there was a shoebox. Zippy and George he's got Zippy, the big puppet there, and you've got the one hand. So we didn't have 2 hands to hold something on the table and do it. So basically we had a shoebox, and we had an elastic band over it, and that could make a sort of twanging noise. So hence the word twangers came. And of course, twangers became very rude. But it was, and so we obviously used that in the show because we'd used it, I've forgotten that. So we did this twang. I haven't looked at it for a while, to be honest, but it's extraordinary. It went out eventually. We won, believe it or not. There was a sort of competition for the best blooper tape or something. And we won it. And I think the head of children's sent us a letter saying, well done, you were marvelous people, you won the blooper tape or something. Anyway, and that was that. We thought, well, that was fun. And then Channel 4 late night, they did late night telly things. I don't know what year it was, and it may have been about a year later or maybe a bit longer. Showed it on a literally very late night, after midnight. I think they ran quite late. Anyway, and showed a clip. Somebody must have got a VHS or something, a clip of the whole, that little scene, and it went out. And after that, people would write and say, we want to see that again. It was hilarious, sort of thing. And then Fremantle Media, who own the brand, I think were a little bit, so, well, we're not going to let that get away. We can't, and so it didn't appear on any other sort of program. But of course, not long later, YouTube started up, and of course, people put out that as the famous, twanger episode, and then what was funny was it was put out on YouTube. People would love it, I mean, it got loads of, it went viral. I think people loved it. And then Fremantle would take it off, and then somebody else would put it on, and then Fremantle would take it. And this went on for about a year, I think. And eventually Fremantle thought, because people were just putting it back on. You can sort of do that. And so, I think it's still on there now.
It is. I watched it.
So, yeah. No. Basically, we didn't swear. It was funny. I think, a preschool child watching it wouldn't really know what it was all about. It's for us. Don't forget, we did program for 20 years. So there's generations of people that grew up with Rainbow. And once you become a sort of certain age, that is just funny, and I've got grandparents who watched it now. It's extraordinary. And, all these different people, and they love it. They just think they love Rainbow. And they, it took ages for Fremantle to decide to bring out DVDs. And, well, first of all, it's VHSs of the programs. They did eventually, and then they had cups and T-shirts and all that stuff. They still got a little bit of merchandise. It's an offshoot of Fremantle now called, I think it's called Boat Rocker. They run Danger Mouse and Rainbow. So anything to do with the merchandise, they're in charge. We don't get any money for it, but they allowed me to do my book. Sorry, and so just have to get it in there somewhere. Anyway, so it's that was nice, and to have Zippy on the front. I love the picture actually. I love the idea that Zippy's putting his hand over my mouth. It's all about him. It's so much about Zippy, and so no, it's lovely, really. I'm going to ask you. I'm sure you've got a question to ask me, because I've been wittering on for about an hour and a half, haven't I? I do apologise.
It's all good.
I did write some down. I won't lie to you. But obviously, you mentioned earlier about your time on Rainbow, but the one thing you didn't mention was the fact that eventually you took over doing the voice.
Oh yeah,
Voice Scout obviously stepped aside. What led to you doing the voice?
Well, I tell you, sadly, before Roy has passed away, which is really sad. But before Roy died, we used to do, when it really became very popular, Jeffrey and the Singers would open, fates and all that in the weekends, sort of thing. And they got really popular. They were, and sort of did, I can't remember, all various, those sort of things. And they kept asking for the puppets to come along. Well, we didn't mind. If I was free, I would come along with Zippy and Malcolm, who was doing George at the time, would do George. But the difficulty was, if we went out to a fete, where would you hide Roy, to do the voices? So, and it was always very tricky, because it mean a sound equipment had to come, because, he couldn't just stand there shouting. There'd be a load of people. So basically, I used to do my Zippy voice, and Malcolm used to do George at the time. I do a bit of George and Zippy now, but and that's how I started. And Roy was quite happy. He used to say, look, can you do it? Because he had a young family at the time, lived in Brighton. So, if the fates were in London, well, he had to come up on the train. And, it was a bit of a hassle for him. So we did it. And nobody, once you see the puppet and, our starters as near as, to Zippy as I could. Well, I'd heard it in my ears for so long. So then sadly, I can't remember the year, but it's been a few years now, Roy passed away. And actually, before Roy died, he died after 1992, and that's when Thames lost its franchise, so Rainbow wasn't made at Thames Teddington anymore. But the head of children's, Alan Horrocks, he bought the brand, or licensed the brand, if you like, for his own company called Tetra Films, and we did Rainbow Days, which was just the puppets, and we ran a shop called I don't know what we called it, the shop, but anyway, and then there was a blue rabbit that came in the program as well. And basically the budget for that program was so little, so they just said they couldn't afford to have a presenter on the program. They can afford to have, you know, 2 puppeteers and somebody in bungle. And so Jeffrey wasn't employed, Roy wasn't employed to do the voice, because they said, look, the puppeteers should do the voices, which of course, you know, that it was what we always did, but it was only because of Violet being, you know, all those years ago, being a woman, that how Roy was, you know, employed, and Peter Hawkins was. Anyway, so I mean, it did cause a little bit of alarm, actually. Jeffrey was quite upset that, you know, we were doing a Rainbow, and because it had been off the air for a few years, and, you know, he was still around. And the sad thing with Jeffrey was the fact that basically he'd done 20 years or something of Rainbow, and he became the face of Rainbow. Well, yeah. You know, his face, he was Jeffrey. And so if he walked down the street, people would say, oh, there's Jeffrey, how's Zippy, how's George, how's Bungle, and all that. And he wanted to do work, you know, as a jobbing actor. He's a brilliant character actor. And that was rather sad. I think directors and telly and stuff like that just thought, nah, you know, he's too well known. The minute he opens his voice, they all say that's Jeffrey. And so he didn't get as much work as he thought he would. I think, you know, in a way, when you do these programs, I think if you're an actor, and it's very difficult to know, he had a young family. Well, he had a son, and he was sending him to private school, you know, good school and all the rest of it. And he needed money, regular money, to come in. So I can understand why he stayed. But anyway, so sadly, he didn't get the job. And he felt during that time, they did pantos. I didn't do the pantos. I felt that if I was going to do the pantos, I'd like to have done Zippy's voice live, you know, so we could have a bit of rapport with the audience. And Roy was in it, and so he either, if he wasn't in the panto, he'd pre-record it. And I just thought, no, that's not such fun, and I didn't want to do it. And I thought, well, how are we going to hide the puppeteers? We're a bit restricted, you know, on a stage. We can be behind one thing. And anyway, I just didn't like it. And fun enough, the guy that played Bungle Bear, Stanley Bates, did the same. And I think the singers had decided that, no, I didn't think they wanted to do that. So they did their own theatre work, which became very successful. But anyway, getting back to the Tetra thing, I think, yes, Jeffrey did find it. And Roy was a bit upset. He said, well, you know, why can't, you know, you paid, but it was the budget. It was down to the budget. Yeah. And I did meet up with Jeffrey and Roy and Malcolm, who was there, you know, playing Bungle after Stanley left. And I did manage to say to Jeffrey, look, you know, I didn't just walk into Tetra. I had to actually audition, and there was about 6 people, you know. I know it sounds daft, but that's how they did it. And he, you know, it was all made up. You know, we were fine then after that. It was, you know, because, you know, it was just, I think he felt, well, how did he get in then? Why, you know, and all that. Anyway, you know, it was resolved. So that was great. You know, the sad thing is the fact that he didn't get a lot of work after that. And he did smoke quite a lot, and he got emphysema, and that's why he passed quite early. You know, his breathing wasn't good. He did I think his last telly appearance probably was on a quiz, but I think it was, I'm trying to think what it was. Wasn't Password. What's that? It was a BBC program, and he was sitting down, you know, there was a stool for him. He couldn't stand up, you know, and things like that. And he did look quite old, bless him, and lovely wife, and very nice son. We did all go to the funeral when he passed and everything. In fact, when he did die, Jane phoned me up and said, oh, Ronnie, you know, I've just heard from Jeffrey's wife that he has passed. We knew that he wasn't well at all. And then literally I put the phone down from Jane, and then oh, I don't know, 10 minutes later, Channel 5 News phoned up and said, Ronnie, could you come along and do a obituary for us for the news? Because, he's such, and I did that. And then the BBC, and oh my goodness, I spent 2 days going around all the different news things. But I went on this morning, at Manchester, they were doing it then. And they paid for a train for me to go that Monday night. And they have a hotel. I mean, when they have people from London, they put them up in a fabulous hotel right next door to the media city where they are. And so that's what I did. But yeah, that was sad. And then, of course, Roy passed away. He passed away before Jeffrey, and then sadly, just not all that long ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, Freddie died. He picked up a cancer. So it's a bit sad, really. Yeah, but yeah. But yeah, getting back to the voicing, that's how I started doing the voices, and I've kept on doing it. And you get the odd fan, who will say, you didn't do it originally, did you, the voice, and stuff like that. I said, no, I didn't. And I never say I didn't. I say, no, you're absolutely right, it was Roy, and before Roy it was Peter Hawkins. So it doesn't matter. But when they see I think when you see the puppet and you see the let's do a bit of puppetry for you. So I've got sorry, it's just popped in. This is the little Zippy, because I've got the other one on the stand, and he looks a bit, I don't know whether you can see him. There he is. Well done. Lovely.
There he is.
Hello, it's Zippy here from Rainbow. Oh, I'm on a podcast again. Yeah, I know you are. Zippy, come away for a moment. Now, the thing is, when you show your legs, because you don't often show... No, I choose not to show them. I know you do, but show them this time. There, you have got legs and a lovely fat tummy. Don't be rude. No, I'm sorry. I know, be rude. There you are. I've got to go now. I hope you can see me all right, because I don't normally do a podcast on a phone. So boring. Anyway, bye. And he's on. So, but, when you see the puppet and everything, it's all, it works. So it's really nice. While I was at Thames, I will go on. I'll just show some other well-known characters while I'm at it. Here we go. I think you might guess who this is. There we go.
Hey, look who it is.
Yes. And he's here now. You've got your magic wand, so I'm just looking for it. Carry on waving while I get your magic wand. Here you are. That's it. So it's a bit dark. Sorry, I'm turning round. Right, hold your wand. Izzy Wizzy, let's get busy. Lovely. Don't hit me with a magic wand. Have you got Sweep with you? Oh, you have. Oh, lovely. Oh, we're going to wave goodbye. There you are. Sorry, he's a bit underlit, but he's. But now somewhere, Sweep is here, and Sweep, of course, might sing a little song if he's very good. Come on, in you come. Oh, you're making shadow. There he is.
There he is.
There he is. Oh, he's got an itch. Why have you got an itch for? You what? You've got fleas? Oh, no, you haven't. Come on. Right. Now you sing a song for these lovely gentlemen. Off you go. Oh, you spat it out, you silly boy. You made me spit the reed out and I couldn't carry on singing. Go on, turn round. There you go.
Oh.
There you go. And basically, Sweep has a funny reed in my mouth, and I have to put that to make the squeak. It's not like a squeaker like the ones you buy under, in the bottom there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm very lucky. Again, it's in the book. Anyway,
should we get it out of the way? Right, the book. Where did the idea come to write this?
Well, I had two wonderful writers. I was doing a season at the Little Angel Theatre, and these two, Duncan and Nuala came to me and said, "Could we take you out for a coffee? We've got a proposition." You said, and I said, "Oh, lovely. What's that?" Anyway, and what it was, they said, "We'd like to do your biography. Have you thought about having your biography written?" And I went, "Well, not really. I mean, I'm lovely, but Anyway, they said, "Look, we've got this idea. We call it Zippy and Me, and it will sell the book, and I'm sure it'll be brilliant, and we'd love to do it." and they'd seen a couple of my shows, and they knew of me, obviously. And so we got together, and it took about 2 years, actually, to be honest. These things do. And I found lots of, luckily I've got diaries of, when I did certain things. So this book goes on to July 2019, and it starts as a kid. I was born actually in Canada, so I came over on the boat. So, it's all in here. Once the book was written, we chose lots of different photographs, but we had to find a publisher. And that was quite difficult, actually. I wasn't quite famous enough to be, put on an A-list publisher or something. But we did discover a publisher called Unbound. And they basically are a publisher that if you've got, an idea that they're interested in, what you do is you get your possible buyers of the book to donate £10. And as soon as you get enough £10 for publishing, and I think it's a few thousand, I was very lucky, for a book to be, even a paperback to be published, then they will publish it and do the whole lot. They'll do, have a photographer at the cover, they publish the book, they have a legal department to make sure that you're not, saying terrible things to people. And what else? Oh, the whole thing, there's an editor that makes sure that, it's all good and all the rest of it. And so that's what happened. So Unbound published it. Sadly, it's just come out of print now, but I managed to buy quite a lot of the old copies. And I think Amazon and I think eBay still have them. I think the Kindle versions are still around. I mean, it's exactly the same thing, but people sometimes like that. I mean, I personally like to have a book in my hand. Right. But, and I think, is it Blackwell's, the bookseller? I think they have some still. I mean, it's only fairly recently that it's come. So people, the bookstores have had them. And then, of course, I sell them at Comic Cons, the copies I bought. And that's the story. So it's basically me coming over from Canada as well. I was 3 on the boat, and then moving eventually to South London, and as I told you, putting on puppet shows. Just have my sister. There's bits of my family stuff there as well. I have a half sister, which that is in the book. Story about how that all happened, and then lots of other bits and pieces, or bits about the Muppet movies I did. Sadly, not up to date with the Quiet Place Day 1, because that was a bit later, but lots of puppet stuff. I mean, I'm now president of the British Puppet and Model Theatre Guild, the guild that I went to as a kid. I've been president for quite a few years now, about 6 or 7 years or something.
Congratulations.
I know, it was such a surprise, and I was really pleased. There was a lovely actor who was actually in Coronation Street called Peter Baldwin. He was president for a while, and sadly he passed away. And the guild council got together and said, I think we'd get Ronnie Ledrew to be president if he is interested. And I was thrilled, particularly as I was a kid when I first went to the guild. As I say, I'm an honorary associate of the Little Angel. I'm patron of the Norwich Puppet Theatre. I mean, they've given me all these lovely gongs, or as it were, but I don't know what you call them, but it's really nice. But there you are. That's the hard sell with the book. So, but there's lots of other bits and pieces in there that, about my wife, my grandchildren, everything. So lots of bits and bobs.
I definitely say, Ronnie, I think you're a national treasure.
Absolutely.
Oh,
100%.
You're very kind. I sometimes feel like it when people tell me. I think, perhaps I am. But no, I mean, no, it's lovely. And, it's been delightful because you just let me witter. You see, I am famous for my wittering, and I do talk for hours and hours and hours.
It's all good. We love it. And I mean, I did watch a clip of you on MasterChef for Children in Need last year.
Oh my goodness,
which was superb, because obviously you thought it was really silly cook, and it was just one of the best things I've ever seen.
Oh, I know. It was so nice. They are lovely. We did one the year before where it was like a pop song, and we were in St John's Wood. I think we weren't actually in Abbey Studios, but just down the road from the class. But it was exactly the same. We had Mr Blobby, we had Basil Brush, we had all Hacker the Dog, we had all sorts of wonderful puppet characters. and we all sang a silly song. Actually, there is a story about that. It was very funny. I mean, Zippy thinks he's the best singer in the whole world. You know, he's the best at everything.
Yeah.
But we did a thing with George and Zippy singing together the song with earphones on and da 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 da, and somebody conducting us in the glass thing. And they said, "Oh, that's great. Now we want to do it individually so we can cut." And I thought, "Oh my God," because Zippy's like, "Yeah, it's all a bit on one level, really." Zippy. I thought, "Oh my goodness, it's going to sound awful." And anyway, I managed to get through it. We had to sing the whole song on our own it was just so that they could, anyway, it sort of worked. So that was fine. But oh my goodness, I did feel a bit sad. But Zippy doesn't know he's not the best singer, but there you go. That was fun. Yeah, no, I've done, as I say, Last Leg, I've Children in Need. It's awful when I come to try and think of the different things, but I do get asked to do quite a lot of bits and bobs, which of course I love. It's really nice.
My favorite thing outside of Rainbow, of course, but
Yeah.
Zippy that always comes to my head is the classic Marmite advert. I will
Oh,
always
that's
love that
lovely.
advert.
Oh,
So
thank you.
funny.
Yeah, it's silly, isn't it? I mean, that was lovely, and I remember doing that, and I remember the sound man having to come really close to the Zip to get that zzz when he zips his mouth and doesn't want to eat mum. And I love that because I didn't mind because I'm not fond of Marmite myself,
no.
so it was like, you know, where's my breakfast? You know, and then suddenly it's shoved under in this horrible smelly Marmite and goes, ugh, and that, I mean, it's only short, but I think it took a whole day to do because they were, you know, but it was lovely. It was that was a lovely one. I've done quite a few commercials away from just Zippy, but we did a Drench advert with Drench Water, which I don't know whether it's still made, but I did that with Brains from Thunderbirds, and he did a wonderful dance. I think that's on YouTube still, but you can look that one. That's quite fun. I did a meerkat ad for, you know, those meerkat ads for an insurance company, isn't it, or something?
Compare the market.
That's it. Compare the market. That's it. And it was what was it? The Meerkat Puppet Theatre or something. They had
I remember that. Yeah,
remember that one where we did those. You know that. I mean, they were CGI'd on the top, but we did the puppets, you know, underneath, so that it looked as though they were doing it. But that was lovely to do. Yeah, but lots of different ones. Sorry, my brain goes dead when I'm trying to remember. But yeah, no, I mean, it's great. I mean, and as I say, there's stuff. I mean, I'm really looking forward to doing the theatre show again, which is nice to do a nice long season at the theatre. And then hopefully at Christmas, I'm going back to Norwich Puppet Theatre if they get their grant. Fingers crossed from the Arts Council. Because again, it's all about getting, you know, funded to put on a slightly bigger Christmas show than they normally do. If not, I've got, honestly, these Comic Cons, this wonderful guys been booking me every day. Well, not every day, but every other day. He said, "Can you do Glasgow in May 2025?" I think, well, possibly, you know. The only thing is I will do them, but if I get a film job or if I get a theatre job, which is 2 months or something, or a month, I'd rather do that, but rather than having to, because it's lovely doing the Comic Cons, but you know, when I have to travel all over the country, and I've given up the car in London now. I just couldn't stand it with all the pressures of, you know, insurance and plus parking. I just can't be asked. Especially where I live, it's dreadful. And you know, paying to park your car in your street. And then, you know, visitors come, you've got to have permits for them to park if they in all this, and it's not free, you know, you have to pay for them, get them in advance. So you know, there's all that, and I think no. And I'm old enough now to have a pass for London transport and tubes, so that's quite useful. And then I've got a senior rail card because I'm now a senior. I know I don't look anyway, and so when I travel on the train, I get a third off, so that helps a bit. But yeah, no, it's lovely. And as I say, I'm being president of the Guild. We've got the 100th birthday of the Guild coming up next year, so there'll be lots of bits and bobs going on, you know, celebrating the Puppet Guild. So if any of your you're lovely people listening and are interested in puppets and want to join an organisation which is the oldest in the world, do look up the British Puppet and Model Theatre Guild. It's a website, and we've got loads of young people. It's not just old fogies like me. It's, you know, lots of young people, and they, you know, lots of people that do Muppet type puppets and marionettes, all sorts. And we're hoping to have quite a lot of stuff going on. I mean, we were all a bit, well, everything was curtailed a bit when COVID, I think, for everybody, really. You know, it was 2 years of hardly any work. But it did actually start me off with these podcasts, because some Americans, people, I've done them all over the place now. And that's really nice, because it shares the art of puppetry to people. And if they're, obviously the English ones like yourselves, it's lovely, who are brought up on Raymond, seen it. They love talking about their, you know, childhood nostalgia or whatever. I'm doing a live thing in Manchester. I think it's, when is that? I think I'm trying to remember. I think it's sometime in October, where it's one of the podcasts, but they're doing like live things, a bit like, is it Talking Pictures? Have you heard of them? It's a It's a streaming thing where they show old films, but they also do live events where they bring back some of the old artists, you know, and they chat about their film work. Well, a similar podcast is doing one in Manchester. They're based in Manchester, and they want to start doing that. So they want, you know, to have Zippy and George, you know, it's a live event I think it's in a cafe in Manchester somewhere. And so that'll be an evening of fun and stuff like that. And they'll put me up over the evening, and then I'll travel back the next day, get back to doing the show at the theatre. But yeah, no, it's wonderful, really. It's lovely that people are still keen to, you know, be involved and want to know about all this. Because as you can tell, I'm not shy in expressing all this. They all seem to be in there somewhere.
No, Ronnie, you've had an incredible career. It's meant the absolute world you sitting and telling us your stories tonight. It really has. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface as well. We have to get you back on again in the future. We really do.
Lovely. Well, I will do. And, you know, I'll try and remember some of the more later things. I'm terrible. You know, I've sort of, I actually, no, I would have done a few more things, actually, if I do come back, say, another year or whatever. There'll be new things that I've done, which would be nice to talk about. Well, thank you. I've really enjoyed it, by the way.
It's been
good.
incredible.
I haven't overspent my chat with you.
No,
Not at all.
No, we'll definitely get you back for part 2. We'll keep in touch, and we'll sort that out, because yeah, this has been phenomenal. But I've got so much stuff I haven't asked that I really want to. No, don't apologize. We love the fact that you talk. We love it. So
good.
So yeah, this is what this is all about. Is we're here to talk to you, to listen to your stories, not to us whittling on about, you know, crap that no one cares about.
Plus, I didn't even get to ask about Zippy at club nights, so we definitely got to do a part 2.
Yes, there's all those. Yeah, there's a few bits of stories in the. I think there's a few of those in the book. I can't read. You know, I've forgotten what I put in there now. But I think we did all the wonderful university, you know, student gigs. Oh, that was amazing. But that's for part 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Stevens, do you have any more questions before we let Mr. LeDrew go?
I do, actually, and I'm just intrigued. Like, obviously, when you started on this path and this career of puppetry and going to the Little Angel and whatnot, did you ever think that this is where you would end up and be today?
Oh no! I mean, I hoped that I would get, you know, well, become established as a good puppeteer and get a bit of a reputation. I mean, you know, I think you do. If you know, think, oh, I'm going to do the best. If I do the best, hopefully they'll think I'm good and I'll get more and more work. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But no, I had no idea. I mean, people keep saying, oh, you're a legend in your own lifetime and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I find that quite hard in a way to take. But I mean, it's lovely. It's really nice. And the fact that I'm president of the oldest puppet guild, you know, in the world. I'm on various other things I get asked to talk about. You know, no, it's lovely, and it's lovely giving back, because I've had so much given to me. So you know, I'm at an age now where it is lovely to give back and to chat and to teach and all the rest of it. So yeah, no, I'm very happy really with how it's all gone, and I didn't think I'd be, you know, quite so well known at the, you know, as I am now. But it's an honor. It's lovely.
Incredible. Ronnie, where can people find you out in the world? Website, social medias, all that sort of stuff.
I'm on Facebook. You can find me on with my name. I'm on X, or whatever you call it. I've forgotten what my I've got a funny name on that. But I'm on what's the other one? Instagram. I think I'm just with my name on that. I'm sorry, I'm very bad at and I have a website, but it's very old, my website. My son works on websites and stuff. I'm hoping to get that rejigged because it's not really up to date, but it's got quite a lot of my early history on it and stuff. So there's that, and that's Ronnie. Oh gosh, Ronnie, I should have written all this down. Ronnie at Ronnie Ledrew. No, that's my email. I can't remember what, and it's www.ronnieledrew or something like that.
Yeah,
RonnieLedrew.com. Yes, if you Google Ronnie Ledrew, honestly, there's how Google has found out about me is practically undressed me. But no, I just got absolutely everything. There, those pictures and stuff like that, and you'll find the website. That's where the best thing. So people, please look, if you're interested, look me up on Google, and it'll all be there. So that's the best way. Yeah. Sorry, me trying to remember my various things. It's
all good. Ronnie, thank you so much for Sooty and Sweep, for Zippy, for everything. We absolutely appreciate you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you so much, and we look forward to catching up again next year.
Thank you very much, and I can't wait to chat again with more and more tales of Ronnie Ledrew.
Take care, Ronnie. See you later.
Bye-bye.
I had a really weird moment earlier, reminiscing about my childhood. It was fucking not that I really want to reminisce about as much as I can, but you know what I mean. When I was about 9 or 10, I took my dad's toolbox. So my parents were still together at this point. I took my dad's toolbox because I wanted to build my own Wacky Races car.
That's amazing.
Literally, me and my best friend Harry. I only had one friend when I was a kid. I only ever had one. And he's called Harry Withington. Shout out, legend. And we wanted to build our own Wacky Races cars. So we took my dad's toolbox and we found those like random. It was on an RAF base, mind. And there was loads of wood. We found some wood, and then we found, I don't know what we were doing, but I really liked the lumberjack from Wacky Races. I think he's my favourite, if I remember rightly.
I can't remember his name, but I remember what he looks like. Yeah.
Next, Rufus Roughcut and Sawtooth in the Buzzwagon.
So I wanted to build my own wooden car. Granted, obviously, it would have fucking happened. But still, I took my dad's toolbox with me to this random. We went to a random field for some reason. Not a garage or anything. We went to a random field because that's where most people construct their vehicles. For Wacky Races. I think he was trying to make the propeller car or something. Do you remember him, the scientist guy?
Yes.
I was just a propeller car at 9 years old. And mind you, right, like the weirdest shit's happened in life. So you know what I mean.
To be fair.
And I remember we were building, and I can't remember why, but we went somewhere else, and we left all our stuff there. I can't remember where we were going. Lunch, maybe hunger had visited, and we came back, and the toolbox was gone, and I was like, "Oh, shit, that's full of all my dad's goods." But basically, what had happened is the RAF police people had found it and taken it in. So that's basically what happened there.
But luckily, Dad got it back, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, you got them back. I don't think he ever knew I took them. So, as far as I remember,
how far in making the car did you get?
Oh mate, like I had 2 planks of wood, so not very. The intention was there.
I like it.
You know, we tried, but no.
I'm going to build this car, but first, snacks.
Yes, absolutely. You know, more important priorities took over. You see, I think we needed brain food. So we needed brain food, and then I don't know why I left everything there. It was just a weird moment.
Just imagine though, if that toolbox hadn't have been taken and you'd gone back, you could be like the new Elon Musk making Tesla and all that shit.
Oh, what a wanker! No, I'm all right, thanks. I don't want to be an absolute piece of shit. Thank you very much.
I'm more meant the inventor of a car, but well, yeah, it's fine.
Oh, I see. Okay. Like the Tesla, that's so phenomenal.
First car name that came to my head. I don't know.
Not Mitsubishi, been around for years. Ford.
I don't know who made those. Henry Ford. Yeah, you know that one.
Masakoto Mitsubishi. and Jürgen Volkswagen, I believe.
Henry Honda.
Love that. Love that. Isn't that Japanese?
No idea.
Where is Honda from? I think it sounds Japanese, isn't it?
I've literally not. I know
Unless
fuck all about cars.
unless someone absolutely loved Street Fighter and went, I know I'm going to call my car. So the electric car be E Honda.
Why isn't that a thing?
I know. That is superb. There you go. Copyright Tom Stevens, Chronicles podcast. Sorry. That's now mine. Not that I'm ever going to make an electric car in my life for Honda, but still.
I was going to say, you're going to get a job of Honda first.
Yeah. If you want it, you're going to have to pay me £2 million. So, and I will sign the rights over.
E-Honda, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know why that randomly came to me. I was just sat having a cup of tea and biscuits watching Robot Wars. And I think so I didn't know this. On Samsung TV, there's a whole channel dedicated to Robot Wars. So I've been like, well, that's staying on. I used to absolutely love that show as a kid.
I thought you were going to tell me it has come back then. I was like, Jesus, another.
Oh, I wish. Well, in America, it's BattleBots. Like,
God, I forgot about that. Oh,
awful.
Just leave it alone. Let's have.
Although they've got a robot called Tombstone over there that I'd love to watch fight one of ours over here because that spinner, fucking hell. But it's weird because that's why it reminded me, because when I got a bit older, because Robot Wars debuted like 99, I got back to 11, 12, and I wanted to build my own robot then. And I never got anywhere with it either. So, you know, my love for building shit goes as far as the idea.
Not the design stage. At least just, I want to build on them.
Can you imagine that? Robot Wars. It's like I come in and I'm like with no controller. I pretend I'm holding it, and there's just no robot there. So the robot's just trying to fight me, and I'm invisible the entire time.
Well, I had the idea.
I've got it's in my mind. You're fighting my mind right now.
I think every kid wanted to go on Robot Wars at some point, though.
Oh yeah,
I know I did.
But Sergeant Bash is my favourite house robot, and I've watched him with his flamethrower, and it's shit. Why did I love that so much? It's so weird. I was like, oh, I love Sergeant Bash is the best house robot because he's got a fucking flamethrower that's on top of him, where a lot of robots are lower than that. Yeah, I love it.
I just love hindsight kicking in now at this age, going, I loved that guy, but really, he's fucking shit.
Yeah, the badass one most badass is Dead Metal.
Oh, Dead Metal. I remember when Sir Kidlot came out and everyone was like, this is the greatest thing ever.
He was the greatest thing ever. But I look at him now and he's absolutely shite as well. It's really weird, isn't it? I think as kids we're like, holy fuck, this is unbelievable. And then as adults you go, oh.
You're going to tell him, was my girl Matilda still good or was she shit?
Matilda, did she have a chainsaw on the back? And then it changed to a spinning disc?
All I can remember was like horn sort of thing at the front. I can't remember much other than that.
She had flippy horns. I remember flippy horns. This is the signature for flippy horns. But I think she had a chainsaw originally that changed to a red circular disc.
Maybe. Yes, I think I do remember a chainsaw tail sort of thing now.
Yes, I think that's what she originally went with, and then they obviously went, well, that's shit. Let's fucking make it better so we can actually destroy some fucking shit. But I remember Razor being my favourite robot. I was literally just watched him get eliminated from series 4, I think it was on. It all goes in order all the way through, and then it goes back to the beginning, goes all the way through again.
It's amazing.
Craig Charles's stories and rhymes were awful.
Oh yeah, I forgot he hosted it.
Yeah. And then Dara Beer did the newer series from 2015 with Angela Rayner. So I loved Razor, but I completely forgot about Hypnodisc. Oh,
I remember Hypnodisc. Yes.
Oh my god, what a robot that was.
I'll be honest, when I pressed record today, I wasn't expecting a long tangent about Robot Wars.
No,
I am loving it. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. Chaos 2 always won, the big flipper thing, and it flips everything out of everywhere.
Yes.
With that dude with the massively ginger hair and then blue collar, red jumper. Like, interesting combination. The fashion sense was so crazy 20 years ago. It's nuts.
Go
on. No, go on.
My favourite thing of Robot Wars is always like group of kids in control, and then you've got this one guy that's like, I fucking love robots, and he get absolutely obliterated by the school children, and the shame on his face would always have me in stitches. So good.
I know they tried to interview them, and it's like, yeah, it's really good.
He's like, yeah, they did great. Going home now.
So I think it was one where it's like, Dad, no, like, hit it now, Dad, now. I love it. Yeah, fucking brilliant. I bet that's like, fuck's sake. Wait till you get fucking home. I'm gonna watch you fight Hypnodisc. Wasn't your kid about 5'5"? Why is he now 4'7"? No reason.
I'm gonna make you fight Hypnodisc. It's the greatest punishment ever. Take your bins out. No, Dad. Are you sure?
Okay, I'm sorry.
He's still got it now. He's threatening his grandkids now.
Oh, that always been pulled along by razor, obviously that big, sharp, jagged pincer thing. So obviously, yeah, it's like attached to his leg, and the more he doesn't want to do something, the closer it gets. You listen to me now, you little shit, won't you?
I did always kind of wonder what happens to the robots after the show. Like, did they keep them? What did they do?
Do you know, weirdly, I kind of wanted to reach out a little bit and be like, see, because there's a robot called Pussycat, which has big wheels at the bottom, and it flips. It can go any direction because the wheels are huge. And it's like a big box thing with a massive circuit disc on top. And it went from Gloucester, and I went, really? Gloucester? Okay, well, and then I was kind of intrigued to be like, it'd be cool to get like, I don't know, one of the teams on to be like, so Robot Wars, blah blah blah, and then find out what happened to them.
That is a wicked idea. Let's hunt people down. If anyone listening to this knows someone that went on Robot Wars, get in touch.
Yeah. The better, the cooler Robot Wars. Yeah, not the shit ones that did, like, nothing.
They went to the qualifying round and didn't get on TV. Maybe not them ones, but...
I'm joking. And Roboteria must be... We'd probably sat here like, yeah? So what's that? Okay, so it does... No, it doesn't do that. Okay, so what's that do? And then the whole mechanics of all of it, the whole interview is like 5 hours long, just about how a wheel was made. Yeah.
It's me and you just going, sure.
Yeah, or a circuit board.
Sounds good.
Yeah, wonderful. Part 2, 10 hours long. So, Jamie, did you ever make potions in the bath?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I used to make, I think it's my mom, make her pretend to drink the potions. She just pour them into the bath like that.
Yeah, because obviously it'd be like Mr. Matey, a bit of Pantempro V, and then
Mr. Matey. Fuck yeah.
A little bit of like Lynx or something, I don't know, whatever your dad used, bit of Nivea. And it's like, oh yeah, this would fucking kill me if I drank this, yeah. Yeah. Mate, potions make you disappear. Yeah. I'll make you fucking disappear in a minute.
We're hitting the disc.
But yeah, I used to love doing it. But obviously you did not realise that you're using up all of the products that cost quite a bit of money. So your parents going, where the fuck's my shampoo gone? No. And we're happy like, la la la. Then you go and get like a rose or a leaf or a petal to put that in as well. And you're like, I'm making potion, love potion, yes.
I'm going to make my mum some potpourri and just get loads of shit from the garden and stick it in water.
Daisies and dandelions.
God, we thought we were so fucking clever when we were kids doing shit like this.
Yeah, right. Oh, disgustingly so. I don't even know where that idea came from. I can't remember. I just I think someone mentioned about making potions. I was like, I used to make potions in the bath. When I was a kid, I used to think I could disappear and shit. I used to try and swim in the bath as well. But when you're as tall as me, you are the length, if not longer.
That's a good point, actually, yeah.
So as I went under, I was like, well, I can't go anywhere.
Well, I've mastered this staying still, Malak. Other than that.
Look, better go up. I can't go anywhere else.
No.
Oh, mate, that's why I don't bath now. It's too fucking hard.
I can imagine.
It's either legs out and the rest of me in, or I sit up and it's everything out bar legs. It's fucking ridiculous. I can't win.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Can't fucking win.
It's just your legs over the fucking side when it tickle me there.
They sit like by the taps, but then I sometimes put the jug on my feet and then burn my fucking feet on the hot tap. Because there's always a random measuring jug at the back for some fucking reason. Why is there always a measuring? Just want to make sure I measure all the bubbles.
I must have 50 milliliters on my head. Sorted.
50 mil of hot, 20 mil of cold. It's almost like one for you, one for me. So weird.
Oh.
Every now and again, if the kitchen wasn't in function, I would use the bathroom to cook. Yeah.
Just use the toilet and mix it all together. There we go. Job done.
Paul, where's the measuring jug? You've broken it. Fuck, I've used the bathroom one now. The water's in there already anyways, it's fine. 150 milliliters of bath water, in you go.
I have to use the bath one now. Oh.
I saw, obviously we've returned from the Bloodstock Festival.
Yes.
Nearly 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago now. 2 weeks ago tomorrow. Fucking hell.
Wow,
Where's that gone? Where has it gone?
Quick.
All of our interviews are now out on our YouTube channel and our Spotify and our Apple. And I don't know why I'm using one finger, but still guns up. Right. And all available on our YouTube right now. So go and check them all out. Go and watch them all. But I was queuing for coffee. I love moments like this. Like, you know, in moments just where you watch somebody an absolute dick for no reason and they get their comeuppance. Oh
yeah. Oh,
magnifique, monsieur. Yeah. Basically, I was waiting for the queue for coffee. You know, the coffee machine, the artisan one that was in the VIP bit in the Serpent's Lair. And yes. I was waiting there one morning, just happily chilling. And this girl had got a coffee and she picked a lid up. So there were small lids and then there were medium lids. She'd got, obviously, a medium or large coffee and picked up a small lid going and then tried to put it on and like, what the fuck is, like, oh, trying to smack it on, like getting really pissy with the thing. And he just picked up a medium lid and went, there you go. And she put it straight on and she went, oh.
How many times did she want to try and do that before she realised there was a different size?
Exactly. And what's amazing, the small lids and the medium lids look completely different. So it's just like, why don't we just try another lid? Why are you there looking at your partner and then looking at them going, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
I'm not going to ask for help. I'm just going to keep doing this until you help me.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I know. But also talking of queues, we tried to talk about this last week, but your internet didn't want to play ball.
Yes.
2,000 trees in the queue for coffee. Why don't with people buying fucking coffee that are just morons? Anyway, queuing for coffee at trees, and there were two people ahead. I think it was either ahead of me or two people ahead of me. And we just like stood waiting, and all of a sudden, two people walked over and were chatting, and they went, we're not pushing in, we're not pushing in. Mate, can you just get me a cappuccino and can you get me a flat white? Well, hang on. Even though you're not technically in the queue, isn't that technically still pushing in because you're still ordering a drink, making it wait even longer?
Exactly that. That is pushing in by proxy, is what I'm going to call that.
Motherfuckers.
You've still got someone else to order your drinks for you, so yeah. You've added extra time to my queue.
I mean, don't you think we've all done it? I think we've all been there, but I don't think I've actually done it. I think I've done it prior to them getting into the queue, but not during. How British are we? Oh, so a queue. Yeah.
Let's moan about queuing.
Yes, you must either order before you get there or get in your fucking self. It's basically what it's there.
Fucking manners. Even if you turn around to the person behind you, go, do you mind if I ask them to get me something as well? So it takes a bit longer. Just have some fucking manners. It's not hard.
Yeah, I love that.
Nice person.
I'm not pushing on a promise, but technically I still am. All right, cool. Cheers, mate. Thanks. Yeah, just gonna piss you off a little bit more.
I'm not going to take the pace in the queue, but my order will.
Yeah.
Cock.
Have you ever stared lovingly and longingly at juice?
That's not where it's like going. Don't think so.
I was walking to the Baylor area of Sainsbury's. You know the drill. You worked there for many a year.
Love a good Baylor.
And I was walking to drop some cardboard off, and there was just this woman just in the juice aisle, just staring at juice. It was so weird. I'm not joking. She was literally just fuck off. She literally was like this, just holding and staring longingly at orange, not from concentrate. Just, do I want you? Do I need you in my life? Is this how it's come to be? It's been so long since I've seen you, fair maiden. I have longed to have consumed your contents for threepence of a year. Like it was so weird, but she was there for ages.
Why on earth would you need to stare at orange juice?
Unless she was going, what the fuck does that say?
I was gonna say maybe she's half blind. Yeah.
Yeah. What does it say? Seeds? Why is there seeds in it? No, that's vitamin C. That's you looking at there. Yeah, it contains vitamin C.
Does it have bits? I can't quite tell.
Yeah. Oh.
If it does, put it back.
Yeah, nobody needs that.
No.
No one needs pips or seed. Well, it's such a weird. Isn't there marmalade that's got peel in it? Why are you putting the orange peel in your fucking spread? It's so odd.
And the fact they charge more for that. No.
Weird. You might as well go pick an orange up and just fucking eat it straight away.
Pretty much.
Don't even peel it.
It's like jam with bits, and it's like literally the crunchy little horrible bit. I'm like, get the fuck out of my jam. No.
Yeah, and then you're gonna get scared that a whole strawberry fucking vineyard's gonna grow inside of you because your parents told you when if you ate seeds.
They did. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually,
but yeah, they're really fucking good for you. People eat pumpkin ones and everything. Like, hang on a minute though, I don't want to look like a pumpkin. I don't want fucking pumpkin to grow inside of me.
Never put that together. Don't eat the seeds in your food. You'll grow an ant tree inside you. But if you go around the other aisle in the shop, you can buy a full pack for you to fucking eat. That makes no sense.
Apple seeds, anything, watermelon. I was patronize watermelon because it's got the seeds in it, and you're like,
Huh.
What would you do? Vines started growing out your ass. Like, what the fuck?
Just coughing your next thing you know, a fucking leaf comes out.
Like, not quite ripe yet, but I'm back in.
Oh God, I've missed this.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired because I'm just tired. My sleep pattern's been a bit all crazy the past. I've not been sleeping very well, so it's knackered. But yeah, other than that, I'm good. Not long finished work, an hour and 25 minutes ago.
And here we are talking absolute garbage.
Yeah, but that's what we love, so it's fine.
We do love it. So we better hear from the third man. It's time for Callum's Treachings.
Do you want to know something? Callum will be able to tell you in Callum's Treachings.
Is cereal soup?
Ooh.
Hello, this week's Treachings come from the set of my own podcast, That Gym Couple Podcast, that I host with my partner Lucy, where we discuss all things gyms, fitness, gym anxiety, and a bunch of other stuff in between. If you do have the opportunity to come and check us out at That Gym Couple Podcast on Spotify and YouTube, we'd very much appreciate it.
Callum is back, motherfuckers. So sorry I've been away for so long, by the way. We probably should have thrown that in there a while ago.
Yeah.
It's just been busy. It's been very busy. Sorry, with Bloodstock and trees, and Jamie's had 15 birthdays come up. And, I think you've had 2 kids' birthdays and your own. So,
yes, pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway.
We were supposed to record last week, in fairness, but my internet decided it was going to be a dickhead. So, Mr. Talk, fuck you. But this is sorting now.
Yeah. It sounds like talk to me. Mr. Talk over there. Oh, fucking shut up. Anyway, I suppose we better hear from the Treacher himself. What is Callum Treachers this week?
The USA is a spin-off of the United Kingdom.
Oh, okay. Well, this show's been so much fun to record for the last 5 years. So thank you all so very much for your time. Callum has just got us cancelled.
The opinions of Callum Treacher do not reflect the rest of the Chronicles of podcast.
Let's have a massive fucking thing up on the screen really, really quickly.
But he's not really that wrong, is he? Kinda.
I mean,
kinda right.
How much do we want to piss off all of our? I mean, Ronnie's Canadian, so we're okay. But
good point. I mean, yeah. Do we want to touch this?
I don't know. To be quite honest with you, they're too far gone. I mean, look at the fucking who might be their president again. Do you know what I mean? There's just no hope, is there? There's no saving them.
No, there really
There's just no saving them. Literally, I think the whole education system is look how amazing our country is, and then everyone goes, "Oh, wait, is there more than one of this? Is not just us then?
Yeah.
Is there more countries? Is there?"
It really does baffle me. You think they'd acknowledge a bit more of the history side of it and not just go, "We're great, have guns." It's weird.
Yeah, I don't want to touch the gun thing.
No. We love you, American listeners, but your country's a bit weird, let's be honest. Just saying.
Maybe we shouldn't put that in there.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't put that in there. Yeah, I mean, we do love you, but I wish we could help.
Yeah.
It's all I could
To
say.
be honest,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love one of my favorite things in the world was I think it was on ESPN. Some sports channel in America put world's greatest athletes, and every single athlete on there was American.
There you go.
There's no Lionel Messi, there's no Cristiano Ronaldo, there's no like Sachin Tendulkar, like he's huge for cricket. It's like there was nobody.
I'm so glad you explained that last one. I was lost.
Other than Americans. He's the one that came to my head. I literally forgotten every single sports player ever to have existed. You know what I mean? Damon Hill, Formula One.
Oh, yeah,
There's just so many. Yeah, there's so many. Michael Schumacher, German race car driver.
There's a lot.
And it just like, world's greatest, but there's no one from the world now, just the States. We love you, America, but we're so sorry.
Yeah.
We're so sorry. Anyway, we should probably move on before before all of our American listeners stop fucking listening to us ever again. What else is Callum treating us this week?
We'll never really know what it smells like underwater.
Oh my god! Oh, the thought that went through my head of actually trying to sniff underwater made me feel quite sick.
I was going to say what it might smell like, or the feeling of water.
The feeling of water, it's awful. Isn't it?
I know.
Why is that the worst feeling? Because it goes into your brain.
It made me have a panic attack once. So yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
When we went on our honeymoon in Egypt, we were supposed to go diving. Becky went under, no problem. But because of my beard, the mask wouldn't sit flush to my face. So as soon as I went under, as soon as you get under, breathe in, because the tube and all that shit. As soon as I did it, water just seeped straight into my mask and went up my face, into my nose, and I just had a major panic attack and stood straight up. I couldn't do it. I went and sat in a hut for about an hour and a half while Becky went diving. Couldn't do it.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, could not do it.
Should have just shaved. Just for that.
Couldn't really shave at the beach in Egypt,
Billy, let me get my Bic. Hang on, let me get my Bic. Well, yeah, that's a shame, dude.
It is what it is.
Doesn't sound like fun, though.
No, it was not. Horrible, horrible, horrible.
At least that wasn't actually in the sea itself. Was that a practice run?
It was in the sea, but it was literally you just walked in for a bit and sat down. So I could just stand straight back up. It wasn't a problem.
Oh, God, could you imagine having... Oh, God, Jesus. No panic attacks here, thank you very much.
No.
Not in the middle of the... I remember, I think I told you about the story that my uncle pretended to get caught by something when I was a little kid. I was like 6 in Italy. Did I tell you about that?
No,
I was in a dinghy in the middle of the fucking... I think it was the Mediterranean. And like, not in the middle of it, obviously. Yeah, I'm straight out like, bloody hell, it's fucking deep out here. Where's everything gone? But he pretended to get caught underneath, and me and my brother like shit our pants so much because we're stuck in the middle of the sea. Like we're miles away from the coast. We're quite away from the coast, and I was going like we were shitting ourselves. He did it quite a few times, and
why
that's why
that?
I now hate the sea. I now won't go anywhere near it.
I don't like the sea anymore. No.
Just the idea of it being nothing, like getting swept out, and it's just that's it. Like, oh no, thank you.
No,
I quite like.
We go to the beach. Like Becky loves going to the beach and walking in the sea, and I'm like, I'm good. I'll just stand over here, thanks, where it's nowhere near the water.
Let's get an ice cream, thank you. Fuck off, seagull.
Pretty much. She's like, I just need to be by the sea. It makes me feel like I want to be as far away from it as possible.
I just want to be recording my fucking podcast. That's all I want to be doing in my house. On my feet, flat on the ground. Thank you very much.
Exactly. Don't need no cold water going between my toes. Thank you.
Oh, no. And finally, Jamie, let's hope he doesn't get us fully killed here. What else is Callum Treacher's this week?
Crunchy foods soften as they go stale, and soft foods go crunchy when they go stale.
What the fuck?
Huh.
That's so true. What the hell?
True. I've never thought of that.
How did they... This is like a really dumb question. How did people work out to know what was meant to be made soft and hard?
I don't know what you mean. I don't know.
Or
I think a lot of these things
away?
is guessing or accidents. That's how I think most of the things in the world were invented and discovered. Complete accident.
Yeah. That's blown my mind. My brain just went, what? I'm sorry. What's happened here? That's insane. That's actually nuts. Why do we just look off to the fucking left when we're thinking, like, going, Me and you both just went, yeah.
It's like we have to look in that direction to think.
This leftal area it just makes me realise things. This is where I have wonderment and just go,
It's probably because if we don't, then we're just looking in the camera like this.
So what's over here then? What's to the right? What's over here? Anything?
Apparently my fridge gives them inspiration and thoughts.
Is this the thing? Yes, it's the thing. Is this the... That's the thinking side. And this is the realisation side.
He's right. Yeah.
And then when you're walking, it's that.
Absolutely.
Why do you walk with our heads down? So weird.
Better than looking at people.
But then it's really weird. But then don't you find it odd when you're actually looking up and walking because it feels so unnatural?
It feels awkward as well, because if you get in eye contact about every person you're walking past, it's just like it's just weird. It's like the beginning of South Park. Hi.
Everybody stops to say hello. Get out of my way. There was a moment I was walking to work and I was upright, weirdly. Good for the posture, I've been told. And there's a car showroom right on the main road. Yes. And he was trying to park a car, but he couldn't because there was cars like flying by. Flocking out. Yeah. They were like flying by. Anyway, I was just walking and he was like really thrusting me like, come on. So I slowed right down.
Don't blame you.
I was just like, la la la. And he was there going, fucking in the car. And I was like, thank you. And then I stood and went, thanks, mate. Thank you so much. Waved and then walked. Then stopped, turned around, went, thank you very much. Well, there was nothing coming.
I bet he fucking hated you.
Yeah. Don't be a prick.
Absolutely.
Don't be a prick. I would have happily helped you out there. But no. Really made me laugh. What was the treat again? Oh yeah. How have we got to cars and parking from crunchy and soft food?
Absolutely no idea. How did we do that?
Oh, do you always find it heartbreaking when you've like left biscuits open or something's just been left? And you find them and go, oh my God, I'm so excited to have these again today from yesterday when I bought them. And then it's like, oh, yeah, it's all soft and weird. Biscuits go weird. They go like floppy and it's just odd.
Stale crisps are the weirdest one as well. Oh, it's like they're all flavour and they go really weird and bendy and.
Sainsbury's do that thing where they put food out for everybody on the daily for like people that are struggling for lunch and stuff. And there were some McCoy's pouring cocktails. Like, oh my God, I have not had these for ages, but I didn't look at the date. And this was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they are from April. Oh. So I just went, yeah, I couldn't taste that. Oh, it was horrible. Oh, literal cardboard, literal. It was disgusting.
Oh no,
worst thing I've ever eaten. Thank you, Callum. Massively appreciate all those treats as always, and thanks for trying to get us cancelled, you bastard.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Massive.
Sorry, America, we love you.
We do. We have nothing against you. Just change your gun laws. So, anyway, Jamie, do you have any idea what this is?
I have no idea what that is, to be honest. I think it's something to do with Cyndi Lauper. I'm not
apparently
100% sure.
No, am I, to be honest with you. Hi, Jude, if you're listening in the bath right now. I hope those candles smell nice.
Me time.
We had the fucking best time Bloodstock Festival. Massive thank you to Kirsten, the Coast Nostra team, Vicky, Adam, Simon, Rachel, all just we bow. We are not worthy. It was an unbelievable weekend. Obviously, like I said before, all of our interviews are now available to go watch on YouTube and listen to on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get us into your faces or ears. Just thank you to all the bands. It was what a weekend, Jay. What a weekend.
Incredible. We spoke to so many bands, so many people, all being really open and honest, talking about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation and being part of this alternative community. It means the absolute world that these people we don't know will open up to us. Do apologize.
I was going to say, your voice was so going.
Yeah,
it's like it was like late night with Jamie.
I was trying to power through that.
Like the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. And basically, I'm going to get my balls out now.
I was tried so hard to power through. I was on a tangent. It wasn't going.
Oh, 0800 46622. 10 minutes, 50 quid a minute.
It's worth it, honestly. Anyway.
Sorry.
No, a massive thank you to people for being so open and honest with two people they don't know. It means the absolute one. It really does. And yeah, we just had an absolute blast. It was so much fun, even though it was really fucking hot.
Yeah, we love hot though. We don't want rain, Jamie.
This is true.
We don't want rain. We'll take the heat every day over the rain, especially for all the equipment.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was great. Some real standout interviews. They're all great, actually.
Yeah, they are all.
It was really hard to actually be like, oh, that one was really superb. But yeah, no, it was absolutely great, and obviously great to see the Acid Age boys. Great to see John. Great to see Jasmine, Kirsten, Vicky. Just great to see everybody. Like Kat and Tim from the Razor's Edge. It's just a massive family.
It really is, and it all came together as well. Because if you listen to our Moon Reaper interview a few weeks ago, we did receive the Chocky Knobs. So a massive thank you to the boys and girl at Moon Reaper, because that was fantastic as well.
That was absolutely wonderful. We love Chocky Knobs. So yeah, what's been going on, my friend? Are you okay? All is well, other than being absolutely knackered?
Yeah, other than being absolutely shattered,
sweaty.
But no, I've got the next 4 days off because I am working the Unity Festival for the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, which is going to be really fun. But yeah,
Happy days off though, prick.
So yeah, I'm going to be doing the Unity Festival for the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. Plenty of bands you'll know from our past that are playing: Second City's Broken Jaw, Tooth and Dagger, The Mighty Wraith. There's some Dekesis. There's plenty of bands that have been in our back catalogue and we've known as well. So it's going to be a really fun weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I'm just tired. What about you?
Do us proud. Do us fucking proud.
Well, we get to play shops and set up the table again. It's my favourite bit.
Yeah, I know it is, but you won't get me there this time. So apologies for that. Well, I was meant to be away for the whole weekend. Now I'm only away for a day, but still. Hope everyone enjoys Unity Festival. If you can go down to Birmingham, go to Unity Festival and spend all of your hard-earned cash on this. Will be absolutely glorious at the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. Please. Lovely to see them at Bloodstock as well, of course. Lovely to spend all of the time with them. And whatnot. Is great. I am bollocks. Absolutely bollocks. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I bust my absolute ass off at work. To the point where I'm $2,500 ahead of second.
Nice.
At the moment in sales, and I've still got 2 days to go.
Very nice.
So yeah.
We don't see any of it though.
I know. I think I nearly made my yearly wage in 1 month.
Fucking hell.
It's disgusting when you think about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate corporations and people. I hate it. So yeah. So I've been busting my ass at work. So that's probably why I'm so shattered. I can't get enough of Robot Wars. So
apparently so.
Yeah, which is weird. There's a whole channel dedicated to Hell's Kitchen as well. And I've tried to watch that, but it's kind of hard to watch that half through a series or near the end.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so
I've never really watched Hell's Kitchen.
The thing is, I always find with those reality TV shows is I'll pick someone to win and they get eliminated in a week 2 or 1 or 2 every time. And I'm like, okay.
That's British Bake Off for me every fucking year. Every fucking year. I picked someone in the first episode and they're gone in the next.
I've never seen that.
Never.
I don't know what it is. I think it's one of those things where, because so many people are so obsessed with it, I tend to go, yeah, cool, no worries.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like that with Ted Lasso. Like, people have gone on about it that much. I'm like, I'm really not bothered if I watch it now.
Mate.
See, I probably would enjoy it. I know I'd probably enjoy it because that many people banged on about it.
Ted Lasso? Jeez, doesn't even compare.
I don't know anything about it. Like I said, I've just heard everyone go on about it. It's like another probably more closer of an idea. RuPaul's Drag Race. I might enjoy that, but people have gone on about it that much. I'm like, I don't really want to.
I have no time. I'm not interested. So it
is what it is.
It's not my sort of flavour. That makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Not enough bang bang and shooty kill for me. Well, when you consider my favourite TV shows are 24 on the Blacklist, I kind of think,
It's a fair point. Yeah.
That's what I've got to say about that. What have you do yourself?
I've been busy, to be honest. Obviously we've been to Bloodstock, which we discussed, which was fucking incredible. Me and the wife had a few days away before that for our wedding anniversary in Blackpool, which was very nice. We went to Madame Tussauds in the aquarium and things like that. We got to ride in a horse and carriage down the street, just why not? Couldn't be bothered to walk back to the car, so we did that. Yesterday was Harrison's birthday, so I didn't think I was going to get to see him on his birthday, which I was really quite upset about, but luckily someone at work came through for me at the last minute and swapped shifts, which is part of why I was so tired the other day as well, because I finished at 10 p.m. and I was back in at 6 a.m. But sacrifices, it's fine. I went to a gig the other day. We had a child-free weekend. My dad decided to have a living for the weekend, and we remembered that the 1000 Lights show was on for Linkin Park. So we were like, shall we go? Fuck it, why not? We're child-free. So we went to that, and it was really good and really surreal. It was fucking beautiful. It really was. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I've never seen anything like that before. But we walked in, and everyone was seating around, and the floor was just full, a long stretch from the front to almost the back of drummers, and a line of bass players, and a line of guitarists, and then 2 lines of vocalists. And then on stage, you had loads of people, like from loads of different bands, people from Defects, The Blackout. Sean Smith hosted the event. You had Jesse from Dream State, Beth from December Falls. So there's absolutely tons of people there. And it was brilliant. It was a Linkin Park tribute band were mostly playing. And then the whole 1000 people did In the End and Numb. And they did each song 4 times. So I don't need to hear those songs ever again for a little while. But no, it was really, really good and for a really good cause. So yeah, it was really interesting. And we found out that Sean Smith fucking loves a raffle. Because why not? Why not? Yeah. He mentioned the raffle. He was like, I'm really disappointed. I didn't get enough woos. So he started talking about it again. And Jesse from Dream State started a Mexican wave.
Nice.
So why not? That was good fun. And yeah, other than that, I've been making ice cream again.
Have you?
Yeah. I had a message on my old ice cream page from someone who used to buy from us quite regularly and was like, I know you're not running anymore, but I really miss your ice cream. Would you mind making me a few pots? I was like, yeah, of course. Why not? It's been a while. So I was expecting 2 or 3. No, she sent me an order for 10. So I've been making a shit ton of ice cream. I've almost finished the last pot now. I've just got to mix that. But it's been good. Nice mix of flavours as well. I kind of really miss doing it, to be honest. The idea is now, I'm like, do I have time to pick this up again?
Probably the man that has no time to wants to do more things.
Probably not, but I really enjoy it. So, I don't know. But it's been good to doing it again anyway. What about you, my friend? What have you been up to?
Let's try. Fuck.
There it is.
And all. Obviously, we've been away for a while. So apologies to everyone that is expecting shows every week. We normally would have done so, but like I said, Jamie's had 15 birthdays. He's had 15 holidays. We've had Bloodstock and 2000 Trees. He's away next week. It's just been nuts. It's been fucking nuts.
August is one hell of a month. So
how did we do it last year?
Fuck knows.
Interesting. Yeah, I think you've had 2 or 3 kids' birthdays, your own. Yeah. And we've had Bloodstock and 2000 Trees in that, with 56 and 40 interviews.
Yeah.
The fact that the fact that you've edited 96 interviews from 2 festivals is insane.
Fuck me, I've not thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
96 interviews we've released in the last 2 months.
No wonder I'm burnt out.
Crazy.
I'm so fucking tired.
We won't go so nuts next year, I promise you. Yeah. Have 100! So, yeah, not a lot really been going on. Obviously, it's AEW All In this weekend. I get to watch my hero, my favourite wrestler of all time, fight for the AEW World Championship or retire, which is kind of a bit of a surreal moment. But I can't fucking give that ticket away.
Apparently not, no.
Mental. Sadly, my friend had to drop out due to some personal reasons, but nobody wants to come with me, and I find that insane.
That is really odd.
Do you know what I did notice, though? On Collision last week, they mentioned in front of 50,000 people. Last year was 81. Yeah, and I wonder if that's why All In's not in London next year.
Possibly, mate. It's not sold as well this year.
So with the cost of living and stuff, I'm not surprised.
No. Well, it's interesting.
Dynamite and Collision in Cardiff was tonight as well.
Yes, it was.
But tickets for that was stupid. So yeah, it's maybe Britain is just not. I reckon it's because of Brexit.
It could be.
Yeah, and having to pay all that for. But then America have always been coming over here. I don't know. I don't fucking know. So anyway, it's All In this weekend. I'm going to be seeing John when I get there. I'm going to be seeing former guest Ethan Lawrence when I get there, and potentially one of the Defects boys might be coming with me, but we shall see.
Oh.
So I'm waiting to hear back. If not, I don't know what I'm going to fucking do. Might just take my nan if she's dead. So just someone's going to come. Surely someone's going to want to fucking come with me.
Just chase people with hypnodisc. You fucking come with me.
Right, it's in my mind.
Or just bring hypnodisc. There you go.
Oh, that'd be sick. Although it's a robot and can't fucking speak or cheer or do anything. I could ride him home though.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the dispatch going to take all the cars out on the way down. So yeah, man, I've been Rihanna-ing and I've been coming home. Not a whole ass of a lot to really report, to be quite honest with you.
At least you'll have AEW to talk about next time.
Very, 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 very excited. It doesn't feel real. I don't think it'll feel real until I'm there.
Probably not. As soon as you walk in the arena, you'll be like, ah.
Go to the main event now, please. Anywho. It's time for Tom's Journal.
Oh.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Braden from Say We Can Fly. Just letting you know, got a brand new merch store out there.
Please let me say the link. Let me say the link, please.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yes, you can say the link.
Yes,
all right.
Okay.
So the link for the shop.
So the link for the shop is www.saywecanfly.shop.
All right, good job, Seamus. So www.saywecanfly.shop, 10% off if you use the code.
Let me say the code. Let me say the code, please.
Okay, fine. You can say the code. If you use the code.
The code is The Chronicles.
What? No, it's not.
The Chronicles.
No, it's not. It's The Chronicles, Seamus.
Yeah, that's what I said.
The Chronicles at checkout, all right? You get 10% off.
10% off?
Yes, they know. They know, Seamus. Okay?
I'm just trying to help, all right?
Visit www.saywecanfly.shop and use code The Chronicles for 10% off your order. Available at participating Say We Can Fly restaurants and web stores. Some restrictions may apply, but probably not.
And welcome to another edition of Tom's Journal. Welcome back to another edition of Tom's Journal. I have missed doing this so much. I'm starting off with a fucking doozy. Engineer 1. Look, we need a name for the front of the plane where the pilots sit. Engineer 2. Dickhole. Engineer 1. Almost.
Oh, that's fucking brilliant and stupid all at the same time. That's
so good.
That's double header.
Did anyone else go on a school trip where they had to dress up as Victorians, do Victorian tasks, and that was the trip?
I feel like I did something like that, but not Victorians. I think it was like Tudors. We went to like a Tudor house and we had to like do things around this Tudor house or some shit.
Yeah, I remember. It's like, why are we doing this? We don't live with this anymore. Why do? Oh, it's a day in the life of. Yeah, but I'll never have to do this ever again.
I don't have to build my house using sticks and shit. Thank you.
I used to hate going dressed up as like school book day and bollocks like that. I used to hate it so much.
I don't remember doing that when I was a kid.
I had to in Germany.
Oh, okay.
And then my dad wanted to dress me up as a Jew. And my mum said no.
Why would he suggest that?
And then there's a video of my dad going, shalom, shalom. So, yeah. So it's really funny. Yeah. Anyway, this really made me fucking laugh. Some Karen is complaining about mince from Sainsbury's. All right.
Okay.
She's weighed it and she's kicking off. At Sainsbury's, this meat was supposed to be a 500-gram pack. Where's the rest of it? Hashtag shortchanged. The meat's coming at 478 grams. Someone's replied, look, love, you've bought bolognese, Kelly, not fucking cocaine.
I mean, that's a real petty thing to be worrying about, let's be honest.
Oh, so funny. This really, really made me laugh. So, you know, you could do the text to speak thing, so you could speak and it does the text message for you.
Yes.
This is a conversation between a husband and a wife. It's so good. Thanks, darling. No worries. Hey, darling. It's me just finished now. I'll head to Tesco and get the bits that we need for tea before I come home. And come on, then, you fucking prick. Sorry, didn't mean to send that last bit of the text. Someone's being a dick on the road. Reminds me of my dad with how road rage he gets. I used to be on the phone to him when we used to speak years ago. And I'm like, you're right, Dad. He goes, yeah, son. I'm like, well, it wasn't too bad. And you're a fucking cock. And you're like, am I? No, sorry. Someone's cut me up.
I love how fucking angry some people get on the road. Like, just don't worry about it.
Matt does it to me now. He's lethal for it.
My dad's still like it. He gets proper angry. I'm like, calm the fuck down, dude.
Your wife does it as well.
Yeah, she's not as bad as my dad, but yeah.
Oh, okay. I think dads are the worst for it, just generally. If you drove, you'd probably be the same.
That's going to happen the day I pass my driving test. I'm just going to turn into an angry prick on the road.
Yeah. Forever. Me. So yeah, this is my emotional support animal. Security. That's a goose. Yeah, the emotion he supports is anger.
Can you imagine having a goose as an emotional support animal? That's amazing.
I don't know where the whole goose fad's coming from.
No, normally.
So, this is from a teacher. This is amazing. It's entitled "Everybody Clapped."
Okay.
2 weeks ago, I told my kids at school to write an essay titled "If I Were a Millionaire." Everyone was writing except one girl who had leaned back with arms folded. "What's the matter?" I asked. "Why aren't you writing?" "Well, I'm waiting for my secretary," she replied. I scored a 10 out of 10.
I don't need to wonder.
Yeah. Perfect. I just really like the idea of this. Last night, I realised if you start inexplicably clapping when one of your friends arrives at a party, everybody else will start clapping too. It's the perfect wholesome prank. 10 out of 10, highly recommend.
That could work. Yeah, that could really work. Because people would just think, oh, must be someone important. Yes.
It's like those videos you see on social media of people on a plane. It's a bed, not a chair. And it's got like them and their wife. And then someone's asleep. And you hear, obviously, them fucking. And someone goes, oh. Yeah. So good. Robert Pattinson is the worst vampire ever to exist. It took him 14 years to become a bat.
Fuck's sake. Terrible vampire. Great Batman.
Fair. I knew you'd say that.
Of course.
So, weirdly enough, talking about our American chaps and friends over the pond.
Oh no, we're not setting them again.
During the Euros, this was a genuine message that someone put up on social media. So I thought that the Euros was for European teams. If Georgia can send a team, we should send a team from West Virginia too. But it's awesome to see a team from the USA doing so well. USA.
So remember what we were saying earlier
about geography and such.
About the education system.
There is actually Americans. There's a country called Georgia in Eastern Europe.
Yes.
Just to let you know.
Even I know that, and I'm fucking awful at geography.
Oh, two more, because the last one is magnifique.
Oh.
I fucking hate bus drivers who don't wait for you to sit down. Just floor the prick and you end up clotheslining a granny.
But that's got to happen to all of us at some point. Just because the
bus
bus
haven't said anything. You go, fucking hell, like you're slamming to your chair.
Not necessarily clotheslining a granny, but fall into something or someone.
Oh, so funny.
The worst is when they do it as you're coming down the stairs and they put the brakes on.
Yes.
Because you just go.
You have to really hold on. You have to really hold on with all of your fucking might.
They did it once when I was with Lena and she fell down the stairs. Fucking dick.
Jeez. Jesus. Well.
Yeah.
Now, this is fucking superb. Okay? Why divide people by irrational things when you could divide them by whether their word for cotton candy is valid or not? Okay? Examples, Jamie. American English. Cotton candy. Good. British English. Fairy floss. Not valid. Spanish and the Germans call it sugar cotton. Good. The French, however, call it daddy's beard.
Do they?
Apparently so.
Fucking incredible. That's what? Why? Daddy's beard.
No idea. But that, Jamie, was another edition of Tom's Journal.
Yes, it was. That and it was fucking beautiful. But I've never called it fairy floss. It's candy floss.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where fairy floss. There's obviously an American who wrote that, but still.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. But that's Daddy's beard. That's fucking brilliant.
It's about getting into schools and talking to young people because, you know, I know that people can change. And it's about talking to people and getting them to understand and perhaps step back from violence and prejudice and whatever. And we just need to work together and keep on the good fight there.
Absolutely. Hey there, guys. We are ecstatically happy to announce that we are associated with the Sophie Lancaster Foundation.
The times are changing, and with the unfortunate death of Sophie, those changes have made a massive impact for the future. If Sophie was with us still today, I can guarantee what you are doing will still be reaching so many lives of young teenagers, young adults, and those who wish to be as different as possible. So thank you very much.
To find out more about this incredible foundation and all the work they do, and more importantly, how you can help, head on over to www.sophielancasterfoundation.com. Mr. Stevens, Mama, Mr. Stevens, Mama, Mr. Stevens, Mama, Mr. Stevens.
What the hell is that?
Transformers.
Okay. Jamie will leave a light on for you. And through the long nights, Jamie will be right there for you. If you drift too far, Jamie will leave a light on for you.
Why do I know that? What is that?
Papa Roach to I'll Leave a Light On.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, for Chester Bates.
Yes, that was it. Yeah, good for
I thought because you know that. Yeah,
I like it. I like it. You know. It's audience participation time.
Is that your transformation?
Yeah, that was me transforming into a box. Apparently,
it looked like you were just doing there. Alan. That's all you were doing there. Participate, bitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to participate in Jamie's participation challenge. This week, I said, let's have a fun game of replace a word. This time around, biscuits. This week, we want you to replace a word in a movie title with the word biscuits. What say you, Mr. Stevens?
The League of Extraordinary Biscuits.
I like that. That's good. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I went with Interview with a Biscuit.
That'd be boring as fuck. But I thought it was biscuits, so...
Yeah, well, you can pluralise it and not pluralise it.
You didn't specify, Jamie Westwood.
Well...
I'll take it.
Tough.
Mine was biscuits, so I'm all right.
DJ Weldon. Instead of Goodfellas, biscuits.
Yeah.
Yeah, works. Phil Jolly along the same vein. Instead of Jaws, Biscuits. Had to get the 2 one-worders out of the way. Although the idea of Jaws, but with a pack of biscuits instead of a shark, it's pretty fucking funny. I'm not
What
gonna
would
lie.
it be? Bourbons. Yeah. Jeremy Dodgers.
Sorry, how does it go?
I can imagine the bourbon being the tongue. Like, yeah.
That's really difficult. Owen Edmonds, Raiders of the Lost Biscuits. That'd be a fucking great film. My Mother, Debbie Myatt, Monty Python and the Holy Biscuits.
Yeah, nice.
That'd be great.
I love how every single time she comes up, you have to be like, oh, it's my mum, by the way. My mum. Everyone listening, that's my mum.
Yeah, I'm proud of my mum. She gives great answers. Gemma Williams, Gone with the Biscuits.
Nice.
Frankly, my kid, dear, I don't give a digestive. And Back to the Biscuits. I like that. Gary
That's me and you. We've had 6 already. Back to the Biscuits.
Back to the Biscuits. So let's have the trees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Gary Harvey, The Fast and the Biscuits.
Love that.
Cat Finch, The Evil Biscuits.
Nice.
Just reading from a book that summons biscuits.
Pinwheels.
Alison Louise, your mum. The girl with the biscuits earring. The party rings. Great.
Oh, I love party ring.
Darren Stevens. A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Biscuits Revenge.
That's my dad. For anyone who
Is
that,
that
was my dad, yeah.
Let's keep it in the family. Emily Stevens.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Biscuits. Or Planet of the Biscuits. Planet of the Biscuits. Oh, send me with a cup of tea. Sorted.
We would be so fat and highly diabetic. That'll be disgusting.
Oh, it really would.
Oh, give me a just found chocolate chip digestive. Why can I hear ape noises?
Saskia Turner Edwards, All Biscuits on the West. And Lord of the Biscuits. That'd be great.
That's you, innit? So I'll stop that now.
Callum Treacher, The Inglorious Biscuits.
Nice.
The Biscuits Night. The Biscuit Night Rises. I like that one a lot. Christoph Evans, this one really made me chuckle. Biscuit Gump. Stacey Marriott, The Biscuit Mile. Oh, just a mile of biscuits, well away.
The green biscuit surely would have been.
Oh,
yeah.
that.
Never mind.
But,
Never mind.
yes.
Yeah.
I'll give you a couple more. Ruby Goodwin, The Good, The Bad, and The Biscuits.
Nice. That's so good.
Leanne Victoria, The Rocky Horror Biscuit Show. That'd be fucking great. And last but not least, just because my imagination took over and what this could become, Holly Mansfield, 50 Shades of Biscuits.
Oh. It's biscuit porn. We love that. With whippers and chains and just people seductively eating them. Mm.
Don't you know what I'm going to do to you?
Oh. Chucky Nubs.
Chucky Nubs.
And the chocolate hobnobs would be great as well.
Oh. Oh, fucking brilliant.
We appreciate and adore and love everyone who participates in Jamie's challenge. Thank you so much to everybody that participates on the regular and for the family for getting involved this week. That was kind of mind-blowing in a way. But if you enjoy Jamie's participation challenge, Tom's Journal, Callum's Treachings, the interview, and the... Are they at it again? And you enjoy the other 139? This is 140, this one.
This is 140.
Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. I mean, we've done more than that, but still. Enjoyed the other 139 plus the extras that we've done. Editions of the Chronicles of Podcast, where we get your podcast from, whether it be Spotify, Google, or Apple, or wherever the fuck you listen to us. We appreciate every last single one of you. Come and find us on all social media at TCO Pod. Just put in at TCO Pod and we will magically appear. But most importantly as well, come and subscribe to us on YouTube. We've had an influx of subscribers recently, so thank you so much to everyone that's subscribed to us recently from all the Bloodstock interviews and from all the shows we put out whilst we've been away and that sort of thing. So massively appreciate you. Thank you so much. So that's all social media at TCO Pod or the Chronicles of Podcast, or subscribe to us on the YouTube at the Chronicles of Podcast. Hit that bell to get notified when new videos are released and comment to your heart's content, but please hit that subscribe button. What was that, Jamie?
Oh, my turn. Before we get out of here, let's say a massive thank you to a few of our friends. Every single piece of music you heard on today's show is brought to you by the wonderful singer-songwriter Matt Roberts. Go check him out, all social medias at Matt Roberts Music. Go give him a follow on the old Spotify. You know what to do. And of course, massive thank you to Mr. Braden Barry and his SayWeCanFly.shop. Head on over to www.saywecanfly.shop. See what you like the look of. Could be some beautiful apparel. It could be some hand-signed lyrics. It could be some CDs. Whatever it may be, whatever you like the look of, add it to your basket, enter that discount code The Chronicles, and get yourself 10% off your order. And last but not least, a massive thank you to the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. They're stamping out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. And of course, we mean everywhere. One thing we always learn when we're doing these interviews at Bloodstock, we're talking to bands from all different countries, and they all have the exact same issues where they're treated differently because of the way they're dressed and the way they decide to express themselves. So head on over to SophieLancasterFoundation.com, familiarize yourself with Sophie's story if you're not aware, and see what you can do to help, whether it be sharing that link out or buying some beautiful, beautiful merchandise. And last but not least, massive thank you to my beautiful co-host with his pink sock on his shoulder there.
Massively appreciate it. It's a leg warmer, Jamie. Come on,
Sorry.
Let's be real. Yes, thank you to everybody. Ronnie, thank you so much for being a massive part of our show this week. We massively appreciate you. It was a great conversation that was had. And thank you to Jamie for actually wanting to do a show this week. So massively appreciate that as well. Sadly, once again, we are away next week for the final time this year. Jamie's on holiday, so we'll be taking one more week off, and then we're back in your faces on the regular on a Friday at 6 p.m. Jamie, another great addition in the bag.
Another great addition indeed, my friend. It's been good to be back.
Always, and now we'll be away for another week. So yeah, it's good to be back. Good to fuck off though. Good to come back again. So as for this week, we will see you all in 2 weeks' time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Ta! Bye!